Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Fell in Love with Mina Ashido after UA Entrance Exam Part 2. Before we start, please go support Chris Walker 2001 for writing that awesome fanfic. The Cavalry Battle Part 1. Interesting, so the girl with the pink skin cares about that brat, Shigaraki said as he watched the sports festival on his computer. He smiled behind the hand on his face. I will add it to the important information list, Shigaraki said. Hey Woods, look who it is, Death Arms said. No way. It is that kid from last year. Wait, when did they have a kiss cam? Kamui Woods said. Don't know, but I like it, Empty Lady said. Way to go, Midoriya. I knew I chose the right kid to inherit One for All, Almight said to himself. Bakugo and Todoroki made it to the finish line to see their classmates. I am not going to lose to that worthless nerd, Bakugo said as he was panting. One by one, the students made it to the finish line. I will announce that only the top 42 people will move on to the next challenge, Midnight yelled. Even though not everyone passed this challenge, let's give a round of applause to the students that participated in this event and gave it their all, President Mike said. Everyone in the audience clapped. Eraserhead, you got to clap, President Mike said. Aizawa showed President Mike his hands. Are you that self-centered? Aizawa said. I have you know that I care about everyone else, President Mike yelled. Yeah, every one of your viewers, Aizawa said in the mic. Will you two stop arguing and make the screen choose our next challenge? Midnight yelled. President Mike didn't hesitate and pressed the button. Sorry for the delay, everyone, Midnight said. Our next challenge is... The screen chose the next challenge. The Cavalry Battle, Midnight yelled. I hate the Cavalry Battle, Genki said. In this challenge, each participant will choose 2 to 4 people. After the teams are formed, each team will have to form a horse and rider formation. The rider will have a headband on their head. On the headband, there will points on the headband to show the total of the points assigned by each member, Midnight said. So that means the people in the groups will have a different amount of points, Suya said. How will we know who has what amount of points? Uraraka asked while raising her hand. Whoever was in 42nd place will earn 5 points, the 41st gets 10 points. That is how you will know, but here is one thing. The person who is in first place will have 10 million points, Midnight said. Oh no, Mina said. Since there are 2 students in first place, they will have to share those points, Midnight said. That is still bad, Mina said. You think that is bad? The actual bad part about this is that the 2 students in first place will have to be on the same team, Midnight yelled. This caused all the students to look at the couple. Look on the bright side, you 2 will be together, Midnight said as she was in joy. I can't argue with that. Let's do this together, Ashi, Izuku said. We are a team after all. I will do whatever I can to help, Mina said. With that settled, everyone has 15 minutes to form their teams, Midnight said as she used her whip. So, who are we going to pick in our team? Mina said as she looked around and saw people already forming teams. We are going to have to pick people, because no one wants to join us, since we will be targeted the whole 15 minutes of the challenge. I know, but we will have to make do with whoever is left, Izuku said. Let's split up. We have a better chance in recruiting if we split up, Mina said. That settles it then. See you in 14 minutes, Izuku said. He left Mina to find people to join their group. Mina looked around to see Kirishima. She was able to find him and called his name. Hey Ashido! Nice job in getting first place, Kirishima yelled. Thanks. Also, do you want to join with Midori and I? Mina asked. She had both her hands in front of her face. Sorry Ashido, but I am with Bakugo, Kirishima said. I only picked you because you said you will help me beat Deku, Bakugo said. He looked at Mina. What is she doing here? Bakugo said. She was just trying to find people to join Midoriya's team, Kirishima said. Screw them. I am leaving, Bakugo said. Sorry, Ashido. Hey Bakugo, wait up for me! Kirishima yelled. Mina saw Shoji. Hey Shoji, do you want a J dash? Mina said as she was interrupted by him. Sorry Ashido, I am already taken, Shoji said. This is harder than I thought it was going to be, Mina said. 5 minutes left, Midnight yelled. Mina started to panic. What am I going to do? Mina said as she was messing with her hair. Hi, a girl yelled at Mina. Don't scare me like that, Mina yelled. I heard you are still recruiting people. Can I join? The girl said excitedly. It is the girl from earlier. I can't come back to Midori with no one. He is counting on me, Mina thought to herself. Before you say no, I made these babies that could help the team from getting their headband grabbed, the girl said. There is no one else around. I guess she can join, Mina thought. Please. No one wants me on their team, the girl begged. Okay, you can join us, Mina said. Yes. You will not regret this, the girl yelled. Just follow me, Mina said as she was heading to the location Izuku told her to be at. Let me introduce you to my babies since we have time, the girl said. A few minutes have passed. Finally, this baby can make the user glide around with ease, the girl said. That is so cool. Since we talked for a bit, what is your name? Mina said. Mei Hatsume. I am from the support course, Mei said. Well, I am Mina Ashido. I am from the hero course, Mina said. 2 minutes left. I hope everyone formed their teams, Midnight yelled. Ashi! Izuku yelled as he ran up to Mina. Were you able to get someone? I did, Mina said as she pointed to Mei. Hee! Mei called out in the distance. Were you able to find someone? Mina asked. It took a while, but I got Tokoyami to join us, Izuku said. Don't forget about me, Dark Shadow said. Glad you could join us, Mina said. Thank Midoriya. He convinced me to join, Tokoyami said. Thanks Midori, Mina said. They were about to set up the horse and rider position, but Mina pulled Tokoyami to the side. What did Midori say to you that made you join us? Mina whispered into Tokoyami's ear. He promised me that he would get me some apples after the sports festival, Tokoyami said. They set up their positions. Izuku grabbed his headband. He looked at the headband and saw 10,175 written in red on it. Team Midoriya 10,175. Team Tetsu 685. Team Bakugo 660. Team Todoroki 600. Team Mineta 405. Team Hagakure 385. Team Monoma 305. Team Shinso 290. Team Kendo 225. Team Kodai 165. Team Rin 125. Team Tsunatori 70. Would you look at that? It is the cavalry battle. Who you think is going to win? Death Arms asked as he smoked. Please get rid of that cigarette. It is stinking up the place, Empty Lady said. I will if we bet, Death Arms said. The bet is that the three of us will choose a team that we think will win first place. The losers will pay the winner 5,700 yen each, Empty Lady said. You are on, Death Arms said as he got rid of the cigarette. Why am I dragged into this? Kamui Woods asked while being curious and frustrated. You are always with us, Death Arms said. I will choose Team Midoriya, Empty Lady said. Of course you choose the team that won last challenge. I will pick Team Bakugo, Death Arms said. I have no choice but to play this stupid game. I will choose Team Todoroki, Kamui Woods said. Hey Eraser, wake up! They are done choosing, Present Mike yelled. Aizawa woke up and still feels tired. Interesting pairings from the teams. I might watch this challenge, Aizawa said. There is that spirit I was looking for, Present Mike said. Get ready, my young viewers, because the challenge is about to start. Todoroki, make sure to use your other quirk, Iida said. No, Shoto said. Why not? Iida said. Shoto looked into the crowd and saw his dad. I will never use my left side in battle, Shoto said as he glared at his dad. You better use your quirk, son, Shoto's dad said as the flames on him grew. Watch it, Endeavor, you are about to cook us alive, a hero said. Then sit somewhere else, Endeavor said as he stared down the hero. Almight saw some of the students from Class 1B talking to each other. What are they planning? Almight thought. Begin, President Mike yelled. Get the kid with the 10 million points, Tetsu yelled. No hard feelings, Midoriya, but we need those points, Hagakure said. Midoriya, think of something, Tokoyami said as the teams were getting closer. We run away, Izuku yelled. Right, Mina yelled. When she tried to move, she saw that her feet were in the ground. I am stuck, Mina said as she was worried and tried to struggle to get up. It must be one of the Class 1B students, Izuku thought. Izuku grabbed the remote to the jetpack on his back. Ashi and Hatsume, look away, Izuku yelled as he used the jetpack. They took off into the sky. Dang it! They have that girl from the support course, Tetsu yelled. Jiraiya used her jacks to attack the jetpack, but Dark Shadow blocked them. Thanks Tokoyami and Dark Shadow, Izuku said. Don't mention it, Tokoyami said. May used her gear to help them land safely. Do you like my babies? May asked excitedly. They are amazing, Hatsume, Izuku said. May was happy when he said that her babies were amazing. Finally! I have been waiting for someone to compliment my babies, May yelled. We have to go after them, Toru said. Hagakure! Your headband is gone, Sato yelled. What? How did that happen? Toru yelled while searching for the headband. Like taking candy from an invisible baby, a student from Class 1B said. We are only 2 minutes into the game. It is complete chaos out there, President Mike yelled. Stop yelling in my ears, Aizawa said. Team Tetsu tried to get Midoriya's headband, but they were blocked by Dark Shadow. We are defenseless, Midoriya, Tokoyami yelled as he saw Shoji running towards them. Why is he all by himself? Mina said, being confused. I don't know, but let's get out of here, May yelled and used her gear. Hold on, Hatsume, it is stuck on my Netta's quirk, Mina yelled. Mina used her quirk to dissolve it. Where is he? Izuku yelled while looking around. I am in here, Mineta yelled. He was protected by Shoji's quirk. Is that even legal? Izuku yelled. It is, Midnight yelled. Tsuyu's tongue came out of Shoji's quirk and almost hit Izuku. He managed to dodge it, but Tetsu got hit in the face and tried to wipe it off. That was gross, Tetsu yelled. Good job dodging, Midoriya, Tsuyu said. How many people are in there? Izuku yelled. Mina was able to dissolve the ball. Done! Now get us out of here, Mina yelled. May used the gear and they flew into the air. Not this time, Tetsu yelled as he grabbed the tassel to Izuku's headband. The tassel slipped out of Tetsu's hand. Tetsu was now furious and looked at his classmate with green vines for hair. If that frog girl didn't hit me in the face, I would have gotten the headband, Tetsu yelled. You know what to do, Ibara. Right, Ibara said. She used her vines and took Minetta's headband without him noticing. While Team Midoriya was in the air, Bakugo tried to steal the headband. Don't think you are safe up here, Deku, Bakugo yelled as he used his quirk. Mina reacted quickly and used her acid on Bakugo's hand before Bakugo could use his quirk. It was not strong to hurt you, but it is still able to stop you from using your quirk, Mina yelled while she winked and stuck out her tongue. Nice job, Ashido, Tokoyami said. Sero used his tape to get Bakugo back. Dang it! I thought he had it, Death Arms said with disappointment. Too bad, MT Lady said. My team will win. Don't celebrate yet. There is still time, Kamui Wood said. I think it is time to show the crowd the score. President Mike yelled as he pressed a button to show the scores. A screen displayed the scores. 1. Team Midoriya 10,175. 2. Team Monoma 1,350. 3. Team Tetsu Tetsu 1,090. 4. Team Kendo 680. 5. Team Todoroki 600. 6. Team Rin 195. 7. Team Bakugo 0. 8. Team Kodai 0. 9. Team Tsunatori 0. 10. Team Mineta 0. 11. Team Shinso 0. 12. Team Hagakure 0. Wait a minute! What happened to Team Bakugo? Death Arms yelled. A class member from Class 1B took Bakugo's headband. Thank you for making this so easy to grab these points, the student said. He got us! Uraraka yelled. Bakugo was now ticked off. The Cavalry Battle Part 2. It did not take a genius to figure out that they would get rid of more than half of the participants in the first challenge, so we all hung back, the kid said. So everyone was in on this? Kirishima yelled. I wish, but some of us just wanted to focus on the sports festival. Oh yeah, didn't you say that you were going to be in first, Bakugo? The kid said. Bakugo was about to break until the kid said, Aren't you popular because of that sludge villain incident? Those words made Bakugo snap. The kid turned his back at Bakugo. Kirishima, Bakugo said with venom in his voice. Kirishima turned to his friend and saw the dark aura surrounded Bakugo. Change of plans. We are going that group, and then we get Deku, Bakugo said as he smiled like a maniac. Bakugo, stay calm, Kirishima said. Bakugo hit Kirishima's head. I am calm. Now get moving, Bakugo yelled. Doesn't sound like you are calm, Kirishima said as he ran towards the team. Teaming up with you seemed a good idea at the time, but where is your headband, Mineta? Tsuya asked. I don't know. Shoji had eyes in the back, but somehow our headband is missing, Mineta said as he was almost on the verge of tears. I am sorry, you two. I wasn't able to protect our points, Shoji said in defeat. Don't give up, we can still win if we can get the other team's points, Tsuya said. That is right, Ajiri, we are still in the game, Mineta yelled. Mineta pointed at the two teams in front of them. Call me Tsuyu, Tsuya said with a blank face. Shoji ran towards the team at full speed. What do we do, Midoriya, because multiple teams are heading our way? Tokoyami said while staying calm and alert. I can only protect us from a team or two, but this is crazy, Dark Shadow said. Just do whatever you can, Midoriya said. Midori, lean the other way, Mina yelled. Izuku leaned the other way. Okay, what are you thinking of? Izuku asked his girlfriend. Mina used her quirk and sprayed her acid on the ground in front of them. This will keep people from coming near us, Mina said. Good thinking, Ashido. Dark Shadow will just cover our sides, Tokoyami said. Yayorozu, create our defense and the insulator, Todoroki said. Momo started to create the stuff for her team. I am already on it, Momo said. Iida, start moving, Shoto said. On it, Iida yelled. Kaminari UI dash, Todoroki said but was cut off. I know, just be ready for it, Denki said as he was charging up. Momo prepared the insulator and Shoto covered everyone with the sheet, except for Denki. Indiscriminate shock. 1.3 million volts, Denki yelled as he used his quirk. Lightning went everywhere and hit the teams that were near Shoto's team. Kaminari! Jiraiya yelled as she was electrocuted. Dark Shadow reacted quickly and protected Izuku, but was not able to protect the jetpack. Shoto grabbed the item Momo created and used his ice quirk. He froze the object and ran it across the ground. Sorry about this, everyone, Shoto said as the ice froze everyone in place, except for Izuku's team. Shoto managed to steal 2 headbands from 2 different teams. Dang it! Our headband, a girl with orange hair said. Would you look at that? Todoroki managed to stop 4 teams with just 2 attacks. Present Mike yelled. He was able to trap the teams with his ice because of Kaminari's quirk. He had to use at that point since so many people dodged it from the first challenge, Aizawa said. Present Mike gave Aizawa a thumbs up. Good job, Present Mike said. Whatever, Aizawa said. We only have 6 minutes left and Team Midoriya is still in the lead. Present Mike's voice yelled in the TV. Great, my team is cornered, Empty Lady said. She looked at Woods and saw that he was calm and not worried. How are you so calm? Aren't you worried about the bet? She asked Woods. No, and also I don't care about the bet, Woods said as he looked at Death Arms. The big guy is not handling it though. Death Arms gripped the table and broke a piece off of it. That made Woods snap. Hey, that was high quality wood you just broke, Woods yelled. So, they can just get a new table, Death Arms yelled back. That is not the point, but the point is that it took people a long time to make this, Woods yelled. Oh, I am sorry that you are attached to Would You Tree Hugger, Death Arms yelled and insulted Woods. Tree Hugger? Woods yelled in anger. Boys, you are both pretty. We still have a festival to watch, so sit down and watch my team win, Empty Lady said. Your team? Both Woods and Death Arms yelled at her at the same time. Dark Shadow! Tokoyami yelled as Dark Shadow got hit with Denki's quirk. Is he okay? Mina yelled. He will be fine, but I don't think he can stand another attack from Kaminari, Tokoyami said. That is right. He is weak when it comes to light, Izuku said. Can't we just along? I can't take any more hits like that, Dark Shadow said. Does anyone know about this weakness? Izuku said. The only person I told was Koda, but that was back at USJ. I am surprised that he doesn't talk, Tokoyami said. Then we will just use Dark Shadow only for emergencies, Izuku said as he looked at Todoroki. Nice quirk you have, the boy said. He used Bakugo's quirk and hit Bakugo in the face. That is your quirk, Bakugo, Uraraka yelled. Ah! Bakugo yelled and hit the boy with his quirk. The boy's body hardened and took no damage. That is my quirk, Kirishima yelled. His quirk copies other quirks, Bakugo said. This class is at least smart, the boy said. Out of nowhere, some liquid substance hit Kirishima's leg. Hey Bondo, the boy said. Monoma, you have enough points for 4th place. Get out of here, Bondo said. I guess you are right, Monoma said. Oh yeah, what was it you said at the pledge? About being 1st place. I feel almost bad for you. Have fun losing, Monoma said. I will be in 1st place, that will end 1st places, Bakugo said. 1 minute left and Todoroki cut off Team Midoriya's way out. They have been at it for 5 minutes and Team Midoriya have just been dodging, Present Mike yelled into the mic. Midoriya's team went to the left to not let Shoto use his ice quirk. Everyone, I am about to do something reckless. Todoroki, be ready to grab the headband, Iida said. Shoto looked at Iida with concern. Okay, Shoto said. Recipro burst. Iida yelled as he ran past Midoriya and his team in an instant. Shoto managed to grab the headband. What a turn of events! Team Todoroki grabbed the 10 million point headband, making their team have a total of 10,001,010 points. Present Mike yelled. Dang it! Empty Lady yelled. We got to get the points back, Izuku yelled. Kaminari is still a problem, we got to get another team's points, Tokoyami said. We can't. Can't you see the point difference? Izuku yelled. Midori, I won't let us lose, Mina thought as she pushed the team forward. We are getting back those points, Mina yelled. We got on choice. Dark Shadow, get ready, Tokoyami said. They are counting on me. I will get those points back, Izuku thought as he used one for all on his right arm. Shoto became worried and used his left side, but no one noticed, except for Izuku. "We have more than enough points to go to the next round," Monoma said. "Forgetting someone," Bakugo yelled. Bakugo used his quirk to fly in the air without touching the ground. "Bakugo, come back!" Uraraka yelled. "Subiraba, use your quirk!" Monoma yelled. "Right," Subiraba said. He took a deep breath and blew air out of his mouth. The air from his mouth made some kind of shield that blocked Bakugo. Monoma's team turned to run away. "You think this will stop me?" Bakugo yelled as he punched the shield and grabbed 2 headbands from Monoma's neck. Sero grabbed Bakugo with his tape and brought him back to the group. "Get moving! I am not done with that guy yet!" Bakugo yelled. "We can't! Kirishima is still stuck!" Sero yelled back. "Fine. Then give me some tape," Bakugo said as loud as he can. Sero put some tape on Bakugo's back. "Round face! Make me float! It is Uraraka, so don't forget it!" she yelled and touched Bakugo. Bakugo jumped to the side and used his quirk to build speed. Sero tried to swing Bakugo towards the team. "I am not finished with you!" Bakugo yelled as loud as he can and used his quirk on Monoma's face to knock him out cold. He grabbed the last headband and made his way towards the 2 teams that were fighting for 10 million points. Another amazing turn of events! Bakugo's team are now in second place! President Mike yelled. Izuku swiped the air in front of Shoto and made him drop his defense. Midoriya was able to grab a headband that was on the top. "I got it!" Izuku yelled in triumph. 17 seconds left! President Mike yelled. "Midoriya, you grabbed the wrong headband!" Mei yelled out. Izuku looked at the headband and saw that it was the 70-point headband. "Looks like Team Midoriya is not going to make it!" President Mike yelled. 1. Team Todoroki 10,940,000. 2. Team Bakugo 1,350. 3. Team Tetsu 1,090. 4. Team Kendo 515. 5. Team Rin 125. 6. Team Midoriya 70. 7. Team Monoma 0. 8. Team Kodai 0. 9. Team Tsunatori 0. 10. Team Mineta 0. 11. Team Shinso 0. 12. Team Hagakure 0. "Let's count down the time, everyone!" President Mike yelled. 10. Izuku's team ran at Todoroki's team. 9. 8. 7. 6. Bakugo was over the ice and saw the 2 teams, but he didn't know who had the 10 million points. 5. Kaminari used his quirk, but he used too much electricity. 4. 3. Izuku reached for the headband. 2. 1. Momo created a staff for Shoto to use. 0. "Time's up!" President Mike yelled into the mic. Izuku looked down in defeat. He did not get the headband. "For first place, it is Team Todoroki," President Mike said. "That was close," Iida said. "For second place, it is Team Bakugo," President Mike said. "Ah!" Bakugo yelled in defeat. "For third place, it is Team Shinso." "Wait, how did that happen?" President Mike said. "I have my ways," Shinso said. "Can anyone give me footage of what happened?" President Mike yelled. Izuku said nothing as Mei grabbed the broken jetpack off of him. "I am sorry for what happened," Izuku said. He looked at Mina and grabbed her hand. "I am so sorry, Mina. I tried my best, but we lost," he said as he began to cry. Mina smiled a little and looked over at Tokoyami. Izuku began to look at Tokoyami. "Todoroki was not able to recover when you grabbed one of the headbands. I took that opportunity to grab the 10 million point headband, but I was not able to," Tokoyami said. Izuku began to tear up. "I was able to grab the headband around his head. Midoriya, you were the one who made that opening, and thanks to that opening, Dark Shadow grabbed the headband," Tokoyami said as he pointed to Dark Shadow. In Dark Shadow's mouth was Todoroki's 600-point headband. In fourth place, it is Team Midoriya, President Mike said. 1. Team Todoroki 10,340,000. 2. Team Bakugo 1,350,000. 3. Team Shinso 1,090. 4. Team Midoriya 670. 5. Team Kendo 515. 6. Team Rin 125. 7. Team Tetsu 0. 8. Team Monoma 0. 9. Team Kodai 0. 10. Team Tsunatori 0. 11. Team Mineta 0. 12. Team Hagakure 0. Izuku began to cry, while Mina hugged him to make him feel better. Thank you, Tokoyami and Dark Shadow, Mina said. My pleasure, Tokoyami said. I am just glad that we are friends, Dark Shadow said. One-on-one battle. Shoto began to look at his left hand. Why did I use my left side? I swore to myself that I would never use it in battles, he thought. We will continue the sports festival after this 1-hour lunch break, Present Mike said on the mic. Want to get something to eat, Aizawa? He asked when he turned off the mic. No, I am going to sleep, Aizawa said as he got into his sleeping bag. Present Mike looked at him with a concerned face. Everyone from Class 1A were heading out of the arena. I am pleased to see that more than half of us made it to the finals, Iida said as he was talking to Uraraka. I know, right? She said. Honestly, I was worried about all of us, Momo said. Speaking of our classmates, where is Todoroki and Midoriya? Uraraka said as she looked around. I thought he was with you, Ashido, Jiraiya said. He is probably getting apples, Mina said. Why is he getting apples? Toru said. He promised Tokoyami that he will get apples for him, Mina said. Some of the classmates looked at Tokoyami. He likes apples, Dark Shadow said when he emerged out of Tokoyami. Sero hummed. What is it, Sero? Kaminari asked, wondering what he was thinking about. Sero was thinking of something he left behind. I just have a feeling that I left something behind, he said to Denki. I think it is fine, so don't worry about it, Denki said to relax Sero. Maybe you are right, Sero said. What no one knew about was that they left someone behind. Hello? Can someone help free me from this glue? Kirishima said while looking around. He sighs and hardened up his fists. I can't believe, he said while punching. Clank. That they. Clank. Left me. Crack. Behind. Clatter. Finally, I am free, he yelled in triumph. I can't believe I lost, Empty Lady cried out in anger. Maybe this will be a lesson for the both of you, Wood said as he grabbed the money. Don't toy with us, Death Arms said. I am not, Wood said. How about I pay for the food? How does that sound for you too? Death Arms got up and smiled. That would be great, he said. Empty Lady got up and put her together. I can't say no to free food, she said in joy. Izuku and Shoto were at a gate. They were looking at each other, while standing next to the walls. They were both quiet. No one made a sound, except for the wind blow towards the gate they were in. Why did he drag me here? Izuku thought. Shoto began to give Izuku a cold glare that made Izuku gulp. Did you want to talk with me? Izuku said. Shoto said nothing. No one has overwhelmed me like you did, Shoto said. What? Izuku said. What is he talking about? He thought. You have that same pressure like All Might, Shoto said. Izuku became nervous. Does he know about All Might and I sharing the same quirk? Izuku thought. There was a long pause. Are you All Might's secret love child? Shoto said with a serious voice. Izuku's eyes went wide. Why does he think that? He thought. I am not, but you won't believe me when I say that. Even if I was, why would you think that? Izuku said while stuttering. If you and Almight are hiding something from us all, I will make you suffer in the next challenge. Also, have you heard about Quirk marriage? Shoto said. I am kind of familiar about it, Izuku said. Good, then I won't explain about it, Shoto said. He turned around and walked away. Wait, Izuku said. Shoto turned to look at him. Why did you ask me about Quirk marriage? Izuku said. If you want to know, then I will give you the short version, Shoto said. My father forced my mom to marry him. He would abuse his family, and he wanted the perfect kid to train to defeat Almight. Why go through all that trouble? Izuku thought. One day, I saw my mother cry. She always said, Why does your left side look like him? Until she splashed water that was in pot on the stove. I never thought my mother was going to hurt me like that. After that day, she was taken away from us and we never saw her again, Shoto said. Bakugo was on the other side of the gate and heard everything. Since I told you that, you will never make me use my left side, Shoto said. Izuku clenched his fist. You know about that declaration of war you gave me? Izuku said. Shoto was not looking at Izuku when he said that. Yeah, he said. Here is my declaration. I am going to beat you, Todoroki, Izuku said while he put his fist near his chest. Sure you will, Shoto said sarcastically. Izuku made it to the market. He was looking for apples until he found them. How much for a 2-pound bag of apples? Izuku asked the vendor. 804 yen, the vendor said. Izuku paid for the apples and hurried back to the arena. At the arena, the class began to fill the field. Izuku made it in time. Where were you, Midoriya? Shoji said. I was talking to Todoroki, Izuku said. While you were gone, Ashido was getting worried, Shoji said. I can't believe I made her worry, Izuku said. Is she okay? She is okay, but just let her know before you leave, Shoji said. I will, Izuku said. There you are, Midoriya, Tokoyami said as he walked up to Izuku. Hey Tokoyami. Here are the apples you wanted, Izuku said as he gave Tokoyami the apples. Thank you, Tokoyami said as he got 2 apples out. Here you go, Dark Shadow, he said. Thanks, Dark Shadow said. Tokoyami threw an apple to Izuku. That is for you because you have not eaten anything, Tokoyami said. Thanks, Tokoyami, Izuku said as he bit into the apple. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the sports festival, President Mike yelled. Why are they here? A girl with gray hair that covered one of her eyes said. I think they are cheerleaders from America, Reiko, a student said. These cheerleaders are from America. They are here to pump up the competition, President Mike said. Wait a minute, Izuku said while looking around. Where are the girls at? Izuku said. I don't know, Tokoyami said. Hey Eraserhead, why are the girls from your class dressed up in cheerleader outfits? President Mike whispered. What are you all doing? Aizawa said in the mic. The crowd cheered. We did it, Kaminari, Mineta said with a thumbs up. Mineta! Kaminari! You tricked us! Momo yelled. It was so easy! Mineta yelled back. The nerve for those two, Jaira said as she threw her pom-poms on the ground and stomped on them. Aizawa was now mad. A dark aura formed around Aizawa. President Mike, he said. President Mike looked at Aizawa and was in complete terror. Press the button to bring my face on the giant screen in the arena, Aizawa demanded. President Mike pressed the button quickly. Mineta! Kaminari! Aizawa yelled in the screen. He used his quirk. His quirk made his irises red and hair stand up. When Mineta and Kaminari looked at the screen, they were in terror. When this is over, I want to see you two in my class, Aizawa demanded. Izuku looked at Mina. She was a little nervous because she didn't want Izuku to see her like that. He walked over to the girls. How is everyone doing? He asked. What does it look like, Midoriya? Jaira said with frustration. Izuku looked at Mina. She turned away from him so that he could not look at her face. If it makes you feel better, Ashi, you look nice wearing the outfit, he said. Thanks, but I didn't want you to see me like this. I feel a little embarrassed, Mina said. Izuku hugged her. Let's get you changed then, he said while hugging her. That would be nice, she said. Why did we have to get tricked by him? Momo said while Uraraka tried to make her feel better. We will announce that our final challenge will be a one-on-one tournament, President Mike said. Once Midnight enters the arena, she will explain the rules to it. Are you ready for this, Ashi? Izuku said. Other than changing out of this, I am ready to take on any challenge, Midori, Mina said as she back into her cheerful self again. Midoriya vs. Shinso. A one-on-one battle. Now I am fired up, Kirishima said as he punched his fists together. This is way better than last year's tournament, Sero said. What was last year's fight? Mineta asked as he looked up at Sero. Last year was a foam sword fight, Sero answered back. We will start drawing whom will face whom by drawing lots, Midnight said. Once that is out of the way, we will let the participants participate in some fun activities. We will start with the first place team to dash. Ojiro raised his hand. What is it, boy? Midnight asked. I like to drop out of the tournament, Ojiro said in shame. What? Everyone said. Throughout the cavalry battle, I had no memory of what happened. I think it was his quirk that did that, Ojiro said. Izuku looked at Shinso. Interesting, so his quirk can somehow affect the person or their mind. I don't know how his quirk works, but I should stay alert, Izuku thought. I can't accept moving on if I don't deserve it, Ojiro said. This is my honor as a hero in training. Ojiro, please think what you are saying. You don't have to do this. Hagakure yelled at Ojiro to make him rethink his decision. You can't just quit now. You can prove that you are worthy of moving on by showing us what you got, Mina said. Thanks everyone, but it doesn't feel right. Also, why are the girls dressed like that? Ojiro said as he put his hand on his face. All the girls looked at the ground. I would like to withdraw. What he said is right. How can I accept this if I didn't do anything either? A kid from Class 1B said. Kirishima was crying manly tears. These guys are so manly. Kirishima wept. That was deep, President Mike said. Let's see what Midnight has to say about this. So you want to withdraw? Midnight said as she glared at them. I love that emotion and heart they put into it. What? She loves it? Everyone yelled. Shota from Class 1B and Ojiro from Class 1A have withdrawn from the battle, Midnight yelled. I will win it for you, Ojiro, Aoyama said. The 2 members will be replaced by 2 members from Team Kendo, Midnight said. Actually, if we could, we want Team Tetsu to have it. They gave it their all at the end of the battle. It would be fair, since we were immobilized from the last battle, Kendo said. I will allow it. Then Team Tetsu will choose 2 of their members, Midnight yelled. Tetsu cried. Thank you, Team Kendo, Tetsu yelled. Now we are back to 16 people, let's pull up the tournament bracket, Midnight yelled as she pointed to the screen. Ashido vs. Aoyama. Todoroki vs. Sero. Midoriya vs. Shinso. Kaminari vs. Shiozaki. Iida vs. Hatsume. Tokoyami vs. Yaoyorozu. Tetsu vs. Kirishima. Bakugo vs. Uraraka. So I am facing Shinso, Izuku thought. So you must be Midoriya? Shinso asked as he was suddenly behind Izuku. Izuku was about to answer until Ojiro covered Izuku's mouth. Shinso laughed a little. See you around, Shinso said as he turned and walked away. Todoroki looked at the board. I will see you soon, Midoriya, Todoroki thought. During the fun activities, everyone was having fun. Can I get a backpack? Sero yelled. He had a tablet in his hand saying backpack. Someone threw their backpack to Sero. Thanks, he shouted. Monoma, I need you, Kendo said as she ran to him. What is it? He said. Kendo held up a tablet to his face. The tablet said, "Gullible idiot" on it. Haha, very funny, he said. Kendo didn't say anything and picked him up. After the activities were over, Cementos made the arena with his quirk. Give a round of applause to Cementos for making this amazing arena, President Mike said. Everyone cheered to Cementos. Cementos made a chair next to the arena. I will be right here if anything gets out of hand, Cementos said. 4 huge flames came out at the edges of the arena. For our first fight in this tournament, it will be Ashido versus Aoyama, President Mike yelled. The Ashidos invited people to their house, including Inko. I love your place, Inko said. Thank you, Akari said. Mr. Leo brought over some drinks to the adults, while Asa brought a soda to his girlfriend. The TV was on. Everyone paid attention, because Mina was about to fight. I hope your daughter will win, Inko said. Thank you, Leo said. I will say the same for your son. Mina was stretching so that she was ready to fight Aoyama. You can do it, Ashi! Izuku yelled out. Thanks, Midori! Mina yelled back. Mina went back to face Aoyama. Fight! Midnight yelled. Mina used her quirk to slide all the way to Aoyama. Aoyama used his laser to hit her, but Mina dodged it. Ashi is the most athletic person in the class, she would obviously dodge every attack from Aoyama. She just has to get close in order to use her acid on him, but it would be wise to aim for his belt. Aoyama is also trying not to let Ashi get close to him so that he could avoid physically fighting her. Izuku mumbled as he wrote some notes in his journal. What a weirdo. Why did Ashido fall for him? Mineta said. Well, he cares about her, and he doesn't try to look up girls' skirts, Sero said. It is not my fault that I am so short, Mineta yelled. Here, check this out. Hey Jayorozu, may I give you a massage? He asked. Touch me and you will regret it, Momo said. Mineta tried to touch her. Momo created a fly swatter and hit Mineta in the face very hard. Oh wow! He yelled. There is more where that came from, Momo said as she read a book. Mina was getting closer to Aoyama. How are you dodging all of my attacks? Aoyama said. It is because we trained together, which also means that I know your weakness, Mina answered. On cue, Aoyama's stomach began to hurt. Mina saw his face and knew it was her opportunity to attack. She secreted acid and threw it at Aoyama's belt. Oh no, Aoyama said as his pants fell down. He was too worried about putting his pants back up that Mina was able to make it all the way to Aoyama. She used an uppercut and hit Aoyama's chin. Aoyama fell to the ground and was knocked out. The winner is Mina Ashido! Midnight yelled. Mina celebrated by jumping up and down in the air and waving towards the crowd. She also did one thing that was meant only for Midoriya. She blew a kiss towards Izuku and winked at him. Izuku became red as a tomato. She did great out there, Inko said. Thank you, Ms. Midoriya, Akari said. So I was thinking that we should hang out after this, Asa said to his girlfriend. He was about to say something else until his dad hugged him and his wife. She did it! He yelled. The girlfriend laughed a little. We were talking to someone, both Akari and Asa said as they elbowed Leo in the gut, but not hard. Okay, sorry about that, he said. Our second match will be Todoroki versus Sero, President Mike yelled. I know that I won't win, Sero said. Then give up, Todoroki said. Sero soon taped up Todoroki and sent him towards the edge of the arena. I am not going to let you win either, Sero yelled. What a surprise attack, President Mike yelled. Sorry about this, Shoto said as he used his quirk. President Mike jumped out of his seat. Aizawa was shocked at what just happened. A gigantic iceberg was made and it was taller than the stadium. Did he really have to go overboard with that attack? Izuku yelled in terror, since the ice almost hit him. Sero, tell me the truth, Can you move? Midnight said. Are you serious? Does it look like I can move? Sero said. Sero is immobilized, so the winner is Shoto Todoroki, Midnight yelled. All of his body was covered in ice, except for his head. Todoroki walked up and placed his hand on the ice. The ice started to melt. Sorry about that, I was annoyed about something, he said. Good try, the crowd chanted. After the ice was gone, the next match was about to begin. Our third match is Midoriya vs. Shinso, President Mike said. Hey young Midoriya, Almight said. Almight, I am glad you are here, Izuku said. I know I cannot fully master One for All, but I only have a little increase in my power. Yeah, but the way you have been pushing your body, I say that your body can handle 5% of One for All, Almight said. Only 5? Izuku yelled. You have been training every day, but you just have to be patient, Almight said. Izuku looked down. Am I able to fully master One for All? Izuku said. You will, Midoriya. Also, Almight said as he transformed into his hero form. Smile, even when you feel worried or scared. It helps make me look like I can do everything to help people and give them hope. Ashi, Izuku thought as he remembered the conversation with Mr. Leo. She would always smile even if she is worried or scared. Imagining her smile was enough to make Izuku calm. Thanks for talking with me, All Might, Izuku said as he walked away. Good luck, young Midoriya, All Might said to himself. Let the match begin, Midnight yelled. So, are you not giving up? Shinso said. Izuku was confused. It was stupid. That kid with the tail, saying that his emotions or whatever were more important than moving on to this round. That was stupid of him, Shinso said. Izuku stayed calm. What kind of idiot would throw away an opportunity like that? Shinso said. Izuku was trying to hold it back. Then Shinso smirked. Let's talk about that pink girl that you like so much. I bet she is a pain to have around. I bet you felt so bad for her that you ended up dating her, because she would have no one else to love her. Also, it looked like she was enjoying to show some skin in that cheerleader outfit, Shinso said. Izuku got angry and yelled. Never talk about Ojiro and Ashi like that. Izuku froze in place. I win, Shinso said. Now walk off the arena. Midoriya, I warned you, Ojiro yelled. What is going on with Midori? Mina asked. It is Shinso's quirk. He can control people when they talk to him, Ojiro said. I warned Midoriya about earlier. Mina looked at Izuku and started to worry. Midori, snap out of it! Mina yelled out loud for everyone to hear it. This is why I said that the exam was irrational, Aizawa said. What do you mean? President Mike said. Shinso lost in the exam, but he got into the general studies. He only lost because he can't control a robot. They do not have a mind, just programming, Aizawa said. I guess you are right about that, President Mike said. Please stop moving, young Midoriya, All Might begged. Izuku, why are you just leaving? Inko yelled and cried a little. What is he doing? Leo thought. Izuku was about to walk off the arena, until saw 7 pairs of eyes without bodies. The only person he saw was All Might. What was that? Izuku thought. One for All went into his finger, and was released. Wind and dust went everywhere. Everyone froze. Izuku managed to get out of Shinso's mind control and grabbed his broken finger. It hurts, but I am glad that it happened, Izuku thought. How did he do that? Shinso thought. Izuku didn't respond. Did he figure out how my quirk works? It must have been that kid that told him, Shinso thought. I am jealous. You were able to use that power to break your finger to get out of my control. You are amazing, Shinso yelled. He is trying to make me talk, Izuku thought. Having a quirk like that is impressive. You must be lucky to have a quirk like that, Shinso yelled again. I was lucky, but I trained to get this power. Izuku thought. It makes me sick to see people with powers like yours get to follow their dreams. Shinso yelled. I am only here because of the people who have supported me, Izuku thought. He grabbed Shinso's shirt and started to push him out of bounds. Get off of me! Shinso yelled as he punched Izuku's face. Trying to push me off! Shinso yelled as he let Izuku stumble off the edge. Let me give you the honors of doing that! I am not going to lose! Izuku thought as he grabbed Shinso's arm and body slammed him out of the arena. Shinso is out of bounds! Izuku Midoriya is the winner! Midnight yelled. Yeah! The crowd yelled. He did it! Mina yelled and jumped in the air. That was a close one, but you did it, kid, Almight said to himself. Ashido vs. Todoroki. Shinso got up and looked at the ground in defeat. I was so close, but the hero course really is amazing, he thought. The audience clapped for the two students for their fight. Izuku looked at Shinso and bowed, but Shinso stood where he was. Did you mean what you said during our battle, Shinso? Izuku asked while he was bowing. No, because I actually felt bad for using that kid. He withdrew from the tournament for his pride, so I respect him. What I said about your girl was just me trying to get you to speak. She must be very lucky to have someone like you in her life, Shinso said. She is, Izuku said as he looked at Mina. To tell you the truth, I think that you having a quirk like that is a blessing. You must get praised by how amazing your quirk is. For me, people thought it was cool or unique, but they also thought I would use it to get into trouble without lifting a finger, Shinso said. Izuku looked Shinso in the face. He felt sorry for him. Why did you want to become a hero? Izuku asked. It was because I admired them. I always thought being a hero would be the best thing ever, but with a quirk like mine, I can only dream of being a hero, Shinso said as he looked at the sky and smiled a little. He went back to frowning as he looked at Izuku. Midoriya was about to say something, but Shinso walked away. Nothing I can say will help him, Izuku thought. Shinso was about to walk out until one of his classmates yelled to him. You did amazing out there, Shinso, they said. Yeah. You showed everyone that us general studies students can also be strong, another said. Look what the heroes are saying, a student said. That quirk would be useful against villains, a hero said. What was Yue thinking for not putting this kid in the hero course? A hero questioned. I wished I had that quirk, a hero said. They all think that I was amazing, Shinso thought as he heard all the praise he always wanted to hear. A tear almost came out of his eye, but he wiped it before it would show. Depending on the results, they could transfer me to the hero course, Shinso said to Midoriya. I might have failed, but that doesn't mean that I will give up. Right, Izuku said. He froze in place. The battle is over. Why is he using his quirk? Izuku thought. I could just mess with your other battles. Just promise me that you will not lose in a pathetic way, Shinso said. I won't, Izuku said. Izuku was in the nurse's office getting his fingers fixed. How are you feeling, dear? Recovery Girl asked. It feels better, thank you, Izuku said as he looked at his fingers. Mina came bursting through the door. Midori! Mina yelled as she was on the verge of tears. Thank God you are okay. She ran up to him and hugged him. I am fine, Ashi, Izuku said as he comforted her. He wiped the tears on her face. Love is so beautiful, Recovery Girl said. It is, Almight said. As soon as he said that, he was hit in the stomach by Recovery Girl. That is what you get for pushing the poor boy, Recovery Girl said. I deserve that, Almight said as he held his stomach. Now get out of my office, I have papers to fill out, Recovery Girl said. They left Recovery Girl's office and went back to their seats. So the couple manages to make it the round in the tournament, Suya said. I am happy for them, Sato said. It will get interesting in the second round. Now it is time for the fourth match in round 1 in the tournament, President Mike yelled. It is Denki Kaminari vs. Ibara Shiozaki. Hey, after this fight we could get something to eat, Denki said. Ibra looked at him. That would be nice, she said. Denki smirked. Because this will over in a few seconds, honey. He used his quirk, but he was covered in vines and was immobilized. Ha ha! He must have a second quirk, because predicted his own future. Ha! Monoma laughed. He was soon knocked out by kendo karate chopping his neck. Sorry about him. He can be a handful, she said. I hate that guy, Jiraiya said. Shiozaki wins. She will advance to the 2 round, Midnight yelled. She would be great for my agency, Kamui said. Yeah, but too bad that we are stuck in this security job, Mt Lady said. This job is not so bad. At least we can still see the fights, Death Arms said. True, but I wish I can recruit her, Kamui said. Now it is time for the 5th match, President Mike said in the sound booth. Our contestants are Tenya Iida versus Mei Hatsume, Aizawa said. That is the Spirit Eraser head, President Mike said, giving Aizawa a thumbs up. Wait a minute, what is he doing? Aizawa said. Iida was putting on some gear that Mei gave him. Support items are not allowed, but they are only allowed if you sign the special request forms for those items, Midnight said to Iida. I didn't know about that. I am terribly sorry, but my opponent came up to me and told me that if we were to fight as equals, then we should both wear these items, Iida said to Midnight. Everyone is being so manly today, Kirishima said as wiped away his tears. Would a true man cry? Denki asked. Jiraiya slapped Denki's head. Oh, what was that for? He yelled. For asking a stupid question, Jiraiya said. What a naive kid. I will allow it, Midnight yelled with joy. Let the battle begin. Iida rushed towards Mei. Mei clicked a button and dodged his attack. Did you notice you went faster, Iida? Mei asked in the microphone. What is happening? President Mike asked Aizawa. She is showing her inventions to the support company, Aizawa said as he looked a little embarrassed. Poor Iida. He was just being used, Mina said. Ida's 10 minutes of embarrassment ended as Mei stepped out of the arena. Hatsume is out of bounds. The winner is Iida, Midnight yelled. You tricked me, Iida yelled. Sorry for using you like that, Mei said as she rubbed the back of her head while smiling. I hope my brother didn't see that, Iida thought. A few moments before Ida's fight. I get to finally see my brother in action, Tensei said. Ring. 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 Tensei picked up the phone. What is it? He said. Ingenium, you are needed. Someone spotted a villain near your area, the person on the phone said. Tensei looked at the TV. I am sorry, Tenya, he thought. I will be over there right away. Tensei hung up the phone and suited up. I will make this quick for you, Tenya, Tensei said to himself. While Iida went back to his seat, Mina, Izuku, and Achiko were cheering him up. At least you won, Uraraka said. I know, but I let that girl get the best of me, Iida said while sulking in his seat. Come on, our class rep can't sulk, you have to show everyone that you are strong, Mina said with a serious face and punching the air. You are right, Iida said while he sat up straight. I can't show weakness, because I have to show everyone that Class 1A is strong. It is great to have you back, Iida, Izuku said. Now our next match is Fumikage Tokoyami vs Momo Yayorozu, President Mike yelled. Let the match begin, Midnight yelled. Momo started to make a small shield as Tokoyami used Dark Shadow to overwhelm her. She blocked the attack but was pushed back. Dark Shadow was not giving her the time to create her weapon. Soon Momo realized he stopped. She used this time to make her weapon until Midnight ended the match. Yayorozu is out of bounds. Tokoyami moves on to the second round, Midnight yelled. I see, Momo said. She looked at Tokoyami and bowed to show him that she was not mad. He did the same, which made them both smile. They both returned to their seats. That was good match, you two, Uraraka said. Thanks, both Momo and Tokoyami said. Our 7th match will be Eijiro Kirishima vs Tetsu, President Mike said. Kirishima looked at the screen. Even our poses are the same, Kirishima sighed. Let the match begin, Midnight yelled. Kirishima and Tetsu both charged at each other and used their quirks. They both hit each other's fist. Stop copying me, Kirishima yelled as he punched Tetsu in the face. No, you stop copying me, Tetsu yelled back and punched Kirishima in the face. Wow, talk about a mirror fight, President Mike said to Aizawa. Stop talking to me, Aizawa said. Kirishima punched Tetsu in the gut, but Tetsu did the same. They both blocked each other's punches. It is hard to tell who will win, Sato said. Koda nodded at Sato's response. Eya! Both Kirishima and Tetsu yelled and punched each other in the face at the same time. They both went down and were out cold. Midnight looked at the students. It is a draw, she yelled. Once they recover, we will have an arm wrestling match to determine the winner. They were both dragged out by robots. That was an interesting fight, to say at least, Jiraiya said. I know, I couldn't tell who would have won, Toru said. Our last match for round 1 will be Ochako Uraraka vs Katsuki Bakugo, President Mike yelled. Per Uraraka, Denki said. I hope Bakugo will go easy on her, since she was on our team, Sero said. Let the final match begin, Midnight yelled. Uraraka and Bakugo charged at each other. She is brave, Bakugo thought. Uraraka tried to make Bakugo float, but Bakugo dodged it and used his quirk on Uraraka. The smoke cleared up and she was gone. She sneaked behind Bakugo and used her quirk. Bakugo floated in the air, but he had a smirk on his face. Sorry, round face, but I want to win, he yelled. Bakugo grabbed Uraraka by the shirt and used his quirk to spin in the air. Uraraka became dizzy and was about to puke. Release! She yelled. Both her and Bakugo fell. Uraraka landed on Bakugo's stomach. Get off me! Bakugo yelled and used his quirk. He got up and held his stomach. Uraraka put her fingers together. Release! She yelled again. Bakugo looked up to see boulders falling down towards him. He used his quirk and destroyed them. Uraraka fainted from exhaustion. Uraraka has fainted, so the winner is Bakugo, Midnight yelled. At least Bakugo didn't hurt her too bad, Sero said. Yeah, but I am glad that I didn't face him, Denki said with relief. The robots took Uraraka to Recovery Girl. After the robots came back with Kirishima and Tetsu, they began the arm wrestling match. Kirishima and Tetsu used their quirks, but they both were equally strong and neither of them were budging. The sides of the concrete began to crack from the pressure. Arrgh! Kirishima yelled as he brought Tetsu's arm to the ground. The concrete broke and Kirishima yelled in triumph. This wouldn't have happened if I had more metals in my diet, Tetsu said in defeat. Kirishima reached out to Tetsu. That was a great match, he said. Tetsu looked at Kirishima's hand. There was silence until he grabbed Kirishima's hand. The crowd cheered for the two students. Now let's get on to the second round of the tournament, President Mike yelled. Mina was waiting near the entrance of the arena. She was nervous because she was facing Todoroki. How can I beat him? She thought. Izuku walked towards her. Are you okay? He asked her. She looked at him and smiled. I am fine. I am just a little nervous about this match, Mina said as she looked at the ground. Izuku noticed her face saying that she is nervous, but her eyes were telling him that she was scared. He went closer to her and hugged her tight. She was now feeling safe. She always loved it when does this. I actually needed that, Izuku, Mina said as she buried her face in his chest. Izuku became red. She said my first name, he thought. Does that mean she dash? No, I can't let my emotions get the best of me. I have to tell her how I feel. Here I go. I love you, Mina, Izuku said without stuttering. Mina was now blushing uncontrollably. Did he just say what I think he said? She thought as she looked at him. You are the best thing that has ever came into my life and I love you, Mina, Izuku said. Mina was about to cry tears of joy. I love you too, Izuku, she yelled. She kissed him and they didn't separate until President Mike announced the first match. They separated. I guess that is my cue to go, Mina said. Good luck, Mina, Izuku said. You are the only thing I want, Izuku, Mina said as she smiled and left the room. Izuku fell down on the chair. He was catching his breath. I can't believe I said that to her, he said to himself. I am surprised as you are, Almight said as he walked towards Izuku. Almight? You saw that? Izuku yelled as he jumped out of the chair. No, but I heard it. I am proud of you, young Midoriya, Almight said with a thumbs up. Why are you here? Izuku asked. I wanted to give Ashido some luck for the match, but I didn't want to interrupt you too, he said. Well, I will go back to my seat. I will watch your match soon. All Might left Izuku alone. Thanks, All Might, Izuku said to himself. Our first match of round 2 will be Mina Ashido vs Shoto Todoroki, President Mike yelled. Aizawa watched closely at this fight. Let the match begin, Midnight yelled. You can do it, Mina, Leo yelled. Everyone was looking at the screen. I hope she will win, Inko said with worry. Mina used her quirk to slide toward Shoto, but he didn't move. She was getting closer to him until he used his ice and an ice pillar hit Mina in the gut. She held stomach as she walked backwards. She looked up at Shoto. You honestly think you were going to beat me? Shoto yelled. No, but I am not going to give up to you, she said. How annoying, he said as another ice pillar tried to hit Mina. Mina used her acid and melted the ice. I will fight no matter what, she yelled. Shoto glared at her and froze her in place. She was about to break out until Shoto made another ice pillar, but it stabbed Mina in the arm. Aya! Mina screamed. Mina! Izuku yelled as he was near the arena. Shoto looked at Midoriya. Just give up, please, Todoroki asked her. I won't, Mina said as she spit his face. While Shoto wiped it off his face, Mina broke out of the ice and covered fists in acid. She punched Shoto in the face. Shoto used an ice wall to block Mina, but she melted it faster than he anticipated. She punched him and gave him a bloody nose. Shoto was now angry and punched very hard in the gut. He grabbed her horn as she yelped. He then covered his fist in ice and punched her in the face. Izuku was now furious at what he was seeing. Mina was about to pass out from exhaustion, until she grabbed his arm and secreted acid. Shoto let go of her. Mina took the opportunity and uppercut Shoto. I am done messing around, he said and covered the ground in ice. Mina was not able to dodge it and got her legs frozen in place. Mina used her acid and broke free. She saw Shoto in front of her. I am sorry, Ashido, please forgive me after this, Shoto said as he grabbed her and threw her to the edge. She stopped at the line, but Shoto used his ice quirk and made an ice pillar that hit Mina in the back, which caused her to fall out of the arena. Midnight was sad to see Mina lose. Ashido is out of bounds. The winner is Todoroki, Midnight said. Mina, was all that Leo said as he left the room and out of the house. I'm sorry that she lost, Inko said to Akari. Thanks, but I don't think my husband is coming back for a little while, Akari said. Izuku ran towards Mina as she was struggling to get up. Mina, I am so sorry, he said as he picked her up. It is okay. At least I didn't give up, she said, smiling a little. Let's get you to Recovery Girl, Izuku said. He was stopped by Shoto. Let me take her to Recovery Girl, he said. Why would I let you? Izuku said as he pushed Todoroki aside. I want to let you two know that I am truly sorry. I know what I did was unacceptable. I don't want to be friends, but I don't want to be heartless either, Shoto said. Izuku, please let him. Also, you have a match that is soon, Mina said. I don't want to leave you alone, he said. I will be fine, but promise me this, Mina said. What is it? Izuku said. Kick Todoroki's butt and move on to the next round for me, she said. I promise, he said as he handed he to Shoto. He saw Shoto carry Mina to Recovery Girl. Izuku saw his opponent for this round. Present Mike begins to cry. That was so beautiful, Present Mike said. Aizawa slapped him in the head. Pull yourself together. You still have to do your job, Aizawa said. You are right. Now on to the next match. It is Izuku Midoriya versus Ibara Shiozaki, Present Mike yelled. Let the match begin, Midnight yelled. Ibara used her quirk to immobilize Izuku, but Izuku used one for all on a finger and sent the shockwave towards Ibara. She was not able to protect herself and was sent out of bounds. Shiozaki is out of bounds. Midoriya moves on to the next round, Midnight yelled. After Izuku's battle, Tensei was still trying to find the villain. He heard a woman scream in an alley and ran towards the scream. What happened to you? He said. The woman pointed behind Ingenium. He turned around to see a man with a bunch of knives and a long katana. A hero would always come to a person in need, but would they always come? The man asked. Who are you? Ingenium yelled. The man grinned. I am the hero killer Stain, but I am here to test to see if you are a true hero, Ingenium, Stain said. Now prepare to be judged by me, you so-called hero. Ingenium versus Stain. So you are the hero killer? I have been hearing a lot of stuff about you, Ingenium said as he stood up. Attack 39 heroes. 17 of those heroes are dead, while 22 are in the hospital crippled. No matter how much you know about me, it won't help you in a fight, Stain said. Ingenium got into his battle stance. Stain smiled at him. They stood there without moving for a few seconds until Stain threw some knives at Ingenium. The pro hero dodged all of them and managed to catch the ones that could have hit the woman. He used his engines on his arms to close the gap between Stain and him. Stain took out his katana and tried to cut Ingenium with it, but Ingenium slid under the blade and went behind the hero killer. He tried to hit him in the back with a barrage of punches, but none of them connected. I thought you were supposed to be fast, but I am impressed that you are lasting this long by yourself. I think you are a true hero after all, Stain said. I will not let you get away with the crimes you have committed, you villain, Tensei yelled. I am no villain, I am just a person that believes that there are no true heroes left in society anymore. So I plan to purge those who are not deemed worthy to protect the people, Stain said. Villain or not, no one is above the law and gets away with murder, Tensei yelled as he swiped the air in front of him. Then prove to me that you are a true hero, then I will be on my way, Stain said as he put away his sword. I can't tell if he is playing me as a fool, or he is being serious. I have to call in some of my team to take this guy to the police, Tensei thought to himself. If I want to take down this villain, then I will have to use my special move. It would overwhelm him and that would be my opportunity to attack him. Looks like he will fight after all, Stain said to himself. Tensei took a deep breath and exhaled. Recipro burst, he yelled. The hero killer was shocked to see how fast he was. Ingenium punched Stain a couple of times. Never underestimate heroes, you villain, Tensei yelled as he punched Stain without stopping. Stain smirked as he grabbed both of Ingenium's fists. I figured that you were using your special move. You got careless and used it, so that meant that you were getting desperate, Stain said as Ingenium's engines began to stall. Stain pushed Tensei back and brought out a knife. He managed to cut through Tensei's armor and cut him. Crap, I was careless. I was so caught up with trying to capture this villain that I was not thinking straight. I have to call for backup, he thought as he was holding his wound. He got out his phone and quick dialed his agency. A true hero never puts others in danger, including their sidekicks, Stain said. He licked the blood off the blade. Tensei froze in place. His phone dropped from his hand. Ingenium, are you there? The person on the phone said. I thought you were a true hero, Ingenium, but I should have known you were a fake. Stain yelled as he took out his katana and sliced Tensei at the midsection of his body. Tensei fell to the floor as his blood was pouring out of him. Ingenium, answer the phone, the person said. Were the sounds of footsteps being heard the person was hearing on the phone. Stain picked up the phone. Sorry, but the so-called pro-hero Ingenium is not available at the moment, Stain said. Who is this? The person said. I am Stain, the hero killer. I took down Ingenium and I will leave his phone here so that you will find him, Stain said. I am sorry, Tenya, I have failed as a hero, and as a brother to you, Tensei said. Stain looked at Ingenium. Good news is that he is alive, but not for long. If you want to save his life, then you better hurry, Stain said as he threw the phone near Tensei. If you manage to survive this, then you are considered a worthy opponent to me. I wish you were a true hero, but you have yourself to blame. He threw his knife at the woman's cuffs to set her free. I was never planning on killing you because I want you to spread the word that the hero killer has struck again, Stain said to the woman. He then leaped to the rooftop of a building and disappeared. The only true hero that will have permission to kill me is Almight, Stain said as he waited for the cops to show up to the scene. The police arrived to the scene to see a woman and the hero, Ingenium, in his own pool of blood. Sansa picked up the phone and answered it. He is still alive, he said. I will give you the number of his mother. I would call her, but I can't break the news to her. Just please let her know, the person said. I will inform her right away, Sansa said. Stain managed to slip away without anyone seeing him. Next stop, Hosa City, Stain said. Midoriya vs. Todoroki. Well, that was the quickest fight I have seen, President Mike said. He looked at Aizawa. Aizawa was not surprised on how the battle ended. What? Aizawa said as he looked at his friend with a face that showed no emotion. I can never tell what emotion you are trying to hide, President Mike said. Whatever. Can you just do your job? Aizawa said with a hint of annoyance in his voice. President Mike sighed. Our next match is Iida vs. Tokoyami, he said into the microphone. Midnight, if you will. Iida and Tokoyami were already on the arena and were waiting for midnight to start the battle. The match between Iida and Tokoyami shall begin, Midnight yelled. She swiped her hand down to start the match. Iida charged up his engines and ran straight to Tokoyami, while Tokoyami called Dark Shadow to keep Iida at a distance. Dark Shadow, grab Iida and force him out of bounds. I don't want to hurt my classmates, Tokoyami said to Dark Shadow. Right, Dark Shadow said. Iida was trying to get closer to Tokoyami, but Dark Shadow was doing a good job at keeping Iida away from Tokoyami. Dang it, I am trying to get close, but Dark Shadow is in the way. How am I supposed to get close to him? Iida thought to himself while running around the arena. After a few minutes, Dark Shadow managed to capture Iida. Iida tried to struggle to escape. Sorry, Iida, but I want to prove my strength to everyone, Tokoyami said. Iida stopped and sighed. I am also sorry, Iida said. What are you sorry about? Tokoyami asked, showing no emotion. For this, Iida said. Iida used one leg and spinned in Dark Shadow's hands. He sticked his leg out and kept on kicking Dark Shadow until he let go of Iida. Iida broke free and charged straight at Tokoyami. Dark Shadow! Tokoyami yelled. Dark Shadow almost grabbed Iida, but Iida managed to slide under Dark Shadow's hands and continued to run. He kneed Tokoyami in the gut. Tokoyami coughed and covered his stomach. Iida grabbed Tokoyami by the collar of his uniform and ran towards the end of the arena. Iida stopped short at the line and threw Tokoyami out of the arena. Tokoyami is out of bounds! The winner is Iida! Midnight yelled. The crowd cheered for the winner of the match. Iida walked over to his classmate and reached out his hand. Sorry for doing that, Tokoyami. You put up a great fight, Iida said. Tokoyami grabbed his hand and was helped up off the ground. You were a worthy opponent in battle. I would never expect less from our class rep, Tokoyami said. Now if you would excuse me, I have some apples to eat. What a great battle! Now it is time for the last battle for round 2, President Mike yelled. It is dash! Bakugo versus Kirishima, Aizawa said. Hey! Don't interrupt me like that! President Mike yelled. Aizawa just smiled under his bandages. You wanted me to show more emotion, Aizawa said. I did say that, didn't I? President Mike said, looking away from him. But that gives you no excuse to interrupt me. Stop whining and act like an adult, Aizawa said. Why am I even friends with you? President Mike said to himself quietly. What was that? Aizawa said as he turned his head and glared at President Mike. Look at that! Bakugo and Kirishima are at the arena! President Mike yelled. Don't ignore me, Aizawa said. Would Midnight please start the match? President Mike yelled in the microphone. As soon as President Mike said that, the intercom was cut off. We don't have all day, Bakugo yelled at Midnight. I was about to start the battle, Midnight yelled back. She sighed and put her hand on her face. I should have done the second-year students, she said to herself. Let the battle between Bakugo and Kirishima begin. Kirishima started to harden and Bakugo charged at him. He used his quirk and exploded Kirishima in the face. Nice try, Bakugo, but I am not going down without a fight, Kirishima said to Bakugo. He only got a mark on his body, but that just from the explosion. Now it is my turn, he said as he hit Bakugo in the face. Bakugo took the hit and was bleeding. When he saw the blood on his face, he started to get angry. You will pay for that, he yelled. Kirishima punched him again and again without stopping. I got to take him out quickly, he thought to himself. While Kirishima was too busy hitting Bakugo, he didn't realize Bakugo's hand was close to the side of his body. Bakugo used his quirk on Kirishima again, but this time it hurt Kirishima. So you can feel that, Bakugo said. He had an evil smile on his face and rapidly exploding Kirishima. Then have a taste of your own medicine, he yelled. Go for the chin, Kirishima, Tetsu yelled. They were just enemies, but now they are friends, a person from Class B thought. Kirishima tried to block the explosions, but they were too much for him. Now die, Bakugo yelled as he exploded Kirishima's face. Kirishima fell to the ground knocked out. Kirishima is unable to battle, Midnight yelled. The winner is Bakugo. The crowd cheered for the winner and to the person that put up a good fight. It is now time to move on to the 3 round of the one-on-one battles, Aizawa said in the microphone. There was a muffled sound in the background that anyone could barely hear. In the tower, President Mike was tied up in Aizawa's capture weapon trying to break out of it. Maybe next time you should not ignore me, Aizawa said. President Mike shook his head up and down frantically while trying to speak. No, you did not learn your lesson, Aizawa said. You will get untied until I feel like you had enough. President Mike started to cry, because he knew he was never going to get out. In the nurse's room, Mina was still in the bed recovering. I guess it is your turn to fight, Mina said to Shoto. Shoto got up and started head out, but he was stopped by Mina when asked him something. Why are you not using your other quirk? She asked. Shoto was at the door and turned to face her. I just don't want to, he said. Then why? Mina asked. I don't want to talk about it, Ashido, he said as he turned to the door. I wished I could, but I need to get going. Shoto opened the door and left the room while closing the door behind him. What a mysterious young man he is, Recovery Girl said. She got up and checked on Mina. How are you feeling, my dear? She asked. It doesn't hurt as much anymore, Mina said. She got out of the bed and stood up. She winced a little as she started to move. I think you should lay down a little more, you need to recover, Recovery Girl said as she put Mina back on the bed. I guess you are right, Mina said. She laid back down. The match was about to begin and Midoriya was about to enter the arena until he bumped into Mr. Leo. What are you doing here? Izuku asked. I am trying to find the nurse's office, but there are no signs saying where it is, Leo said as he put his hand behind his head and laughed a little. Oh, then it is down the hall. Take a right and then take another right, Izuku said as he pointed the direction of the nurse's office. Thanks, Midoriya, Leo said. Before Leo was about to leave, Endeavor walked right in front of them. There you are, kid, he said. So you must be the father of that kid that hurt my daughter, Leo said with some venom in his voice. He rolled up his sleeves and stood face to face with the number 2 hero. I don't have time with you, Endeavor said to Leo. Endeavor pushed Leo out of the way, but Leo didn't take that kindly. I am not finished with you yet, Leo said as he grabbed Endeavor by the shoulder. Get your hand off me, Endeavor yelled as he made the flames hotter. Leo did not let go and his hand was just fine. Mr. Leo, just go see Mina. I will take care of this, Izuku said. Leo just sighs and heads to the nurse's office. He stopped and whispers to Izuku. If anything happens, let me know and I will help, he said to Izuku and walked away. As soon as Leo was out of sight, Endeavor talked to Izuku. You have an impressive quirk, kid, Endeavor said. Thanks, IB Dash, Izuku said but was cut off. It is just like Almight's quirk, Endeavor said. Izuku tries to walk away from Endeavor. Shoto is on a mission to surpass All Might, Endeavor said. His battle against you will be put to a test. Give everything you got, kid. Izuku was frozen in place when Endeavor said that. Good luck out there, and sorry to waste your time, Endeavor said as he was leaving. I am not All Might, Izuku said. Endeavor looked back. Of course you are N-, Endeavor said as he was interrupted by Izuku. I know I am not, Izuku said. And Todoroki is not you. Endeavor glared at the Izuku as he was leaving. You are messing with the wrong person, kid, Endeavor said to himself. As Izuku entered the arena, Mina was watching Izuku on the TV. You are worried about him, my dear, Recovery Girl said as she was doing paperwork on the other side of the room. I am, but I know I shouldn't be, Mina said. Recovery Girl stopped doing her paperwork and turned towards Mina. I remembered having that feeling, Recovery Girl said. Just between you and me, that boy gets into a lot of trouble protecting you. Recovery Girl began to giggle, which also made Mina laugh. You are not wrong about that, Mina said. Recovery Girl looked at the door. What is wrong? Mina asked. Recovery Girl grabbed her cane. A few seconds later, Mr. Leo opened the door. Mina! Are you Dash? Leo yelled, but was cut off when Recovery Girl hit him very hard with her cane. Leo covered his stomach and dropped to his knees. Dad? Mina yelled while she was covering her mouth. You shouldn't just barge into a nurse's office, Recovery Girl said as she stood up. Let that be a lesson next time. Got it, Leo said as he was trying to catch his breath. He got up and went to Mina. Hey sweetie, how are you feeling? Leo asked as he was hugging his daughter. I am fine, Dad, but you didn't have to come here, Mina said as she hugged back. The match between Midoriya and Todoroki is about to begin, Aizawa said on the TV. Mina and her dad stopped hugging to look at the TV. This match is going to be messy, Recovery Girl said. She activated the robots and told them to go to the arena and take whoever gets injury to her. The robots left the room. Are the fighters ready? Midnight yelled. Izuku and Shoto didn't say anything. I love it when they get serious, Midnight thought. This is for you, Mina, Izuku thought. I won't lose to you, Shoto thought. Let the match begin, Midnight yelled as she swiped her hand down. As soon as she said it, both Izuku and Shoto used their quirks. Izuku managed to break his middle finger on his right hand. Todoroki was knocked back to the edge of the arena, but put an ice wall behind him so he wouldn't go out of bounds. I expected you would have used your quirk as soon as the match start, Todoroki said. I don't know how strong he is, so I have to use one for all at 100%. Izuku thought to himself while holding his hand. In the crowd, Almight was focused on the battle. Why did he use one for all at the max? Almight thought. He was getting worried about Izuku. I know it isn't because of Ashido that you are doing this, but what is it you are trying to do? I have to end this now, Shoto thought as he used high quirk to freeze Midoriya. Izuku used his right pointing finger and powered up one for all at 100% again. He flicked his finger, and the blast dated the ice again, but Shoto was still in the arena. Izuku now realized that both middle and pointing fingers were broken. I only have 6 more shots left, he thought. Shoto used his quirk again, but Izuku used one for all on his ring finger to stop the ice again. I know what you are trying to do, Midoriya, Shoto said as he used his quirk. I am going to end this quickly, so you don't have to keep hurting yourself. I am not giving up, not now! Izuku yelled as he used his quirk on his pinky finger. Izuku looked at his right hand. This hand is done, Izuku thought as put up his other arm. Shoto was not where he was. Izuku looked up and saw him on one of the pieces of ice in the air. Shoto put his hand on the ground in front of Midoriya and froze it, but Izuku dodged it in time. You are not getting away, Shoto said. He used his quirk to make the ice head to Izuku and froze his foot. Izuku used his quirk and destroyed the ice again. Shoto used several ice walls to keep him from going out of bounds. That was more powerful than the other attacks, he thought. How did he do that? As the dust cleared, Izuku was standing there with a broken left arm. He used his whole arm, Shoto thought to himself while showing a surprised look on his face. Izuku winced in pain, but he noticed that Shoto was shivering and that some of his body was frozen. I am glad that you are going all out, Midoriya, Shoto said as he looked at his father. He is not happy. Both of your hands are broken and you are in no shape to fight anymore, he continued. I will end this fight so you can get healed quickly. He used his quirk to freeze Midoriya. Midoriya looked at him. Who says I am done? Izuku yelled as lifted his arm. He used one for all on his right middle finger and destroyed the ice. It is already broken, Shoto yelled. Why are you going this far? Everyone has given it their all out there, but you haven't when you face Sero and Mina, Izuku said. So why don't you show me your full strength, Todoroki? Izuku formed a fist with his broken fingers. This kid, Endeavor thought. Shoto was now getting mad as a flashback of his mother came up in his mind. You're making this worse, Midoriya, Shoto yelled as he ran towards Izuku. Izuku used one for all on his right hand and punched Todoroki in the stomach. This is for Mina, he yelled as Shoto went flying and hit the ground near the end of the arena. Shoto got up and coughed, while Izuku's hand was dripping with blood. Shoto used his quirk to freeze Izuku's legs, but his quirk was weaker. In the nurse's office, Mina had enough and tried to go see Izuku. Mina, what are you doing? Leo asked. I can't let Izuku go this far, Mina said as she tried to walk. Leo looked down and made a decision. He picked up his daughter and left the room. She needs to rest, Recovery Girl said. Midoriya needs to stop hurting himself and my daughter can stop him from doing that, Leo said as he closed the door behind him. Izuku tried to make a fist, but was not able to as Todoroki was closing the gap between them. Izuku put his thumb in his mouth and used one for all. The blast hit Shoto, but he was still in the arena. Why are you going this far? He yelled. It is because want to be a hero that saves the day with a smile on his face, Izuku yelled. Shoto saw another past memory. Shoto, a woman's voice said. Midoriya ran at Shoto and headbutted him in the gut. That is why I am giving everything I got, Izuku yelled. If you can't give it your all, then are you not serious in denying everything to your father? Shoto kept getting more flashbacks. He's had enough, the woman cried. He is only 5. So what? Endeavor yelled as he slapped the woman in the face in front of a young boy that was crying. Shut up! Todoroki yelled. The ice on his body covered him more. I don't like Daddy, the little boy said as he cried into his mother's clothes. I don't want to be like the man that hurts my mommy. You want to be a hero? The Shoto's mom said. Then you will not be like him, if you have a future that you can make. Izuku punched Todoroki. I don't want to leave them, Mom, but they are more like him every day, the mother said on the phone. Whenever I see Shoto's left side, it reminds me of him. I don't want to raise Shoto anymore. The kettle began to rattle. Mommy? Shoto said as his mother looked horrified. Shoto fell on the ground of the arena. Where's Mommy? Shoto said as his left eye was covered in bandages. She hurt you, so she had to go somewhere, Endeavor said. Shoto cried. It was your fault, he yelled. Shoto got up from the ground and looked at Midoriya. I will show you his, Shoto said, but Izuku cut him off. Your power! Izuku yelled at Shoto. It is your power, not his. Quirks are naturally passed from parent to child, Almight said on the TV. Shoto was with his mom while he was happy watching Almight on the TV. It is not blood ties that matter, Almight said. It is how you recognize that power and appreciate oneself. That is what it means when I say I am here, he said. Shoto looked at Midoriya. You decide who you want to become, Shoto. His mom's voice echoed in his mind. Shoto's body came on fire. I want to be a hero too, Shoto said as he was about to cry. The fire thawed off the ice around his body. Izuku! Mina yelled at from the gate. Midoriya looked back to see Mina with Mr. Leo by her side. Shoto wiped the tears away from his eyes. You must be crazy to make me use my other quirk while you are suffering from your own injuries, Shoto said as Izuku looked at him. It is going to be your fault that this will happen. Shoto used his ice quirk, and it headed towards Izuku. Izuku used one for all on his left leg and jumped over the ice. I am stopping this, Cementos said as he built a wall from the ground that separated Izuku and Todoroki. Midnight ripped the sleeve of her outfit to get her quirk out. Izuku and Shoto went straight into the wall. Izuku used one for all on his right arm and Shoto used his fire quirk. Thank you, Midoriya, Shoto said as they destroyed the wall. The impact caused a strong gust that made some of the crowd fly out of their seats. Leo protected Mina with his body. Shoji grabbed Mineta before he went flying. As the gust died down, there was smoke covering the entire arena. I can't see anything, Aizawa said. As the smoke cleared, Midnight got up to see what happened. She saw that one person was still standing. The smoke cleared and revealed the person. The winner is Midoriya! Midnight yelled. Shoto woke up and got onto his feet. Izuku was barely able to stand. Mina ran up to Izuku and caught him from falling. You did it, Izuku, Mina said as she was crying. But you didn't have to go that far. Mr. Leo picked up Midoriya. You did great, kid, he said as he was taking him to the nurse's office as Mina followed her dad to make sure Izuku was going to be okay. The final match. Mina opened the door and Leo walked in carrying Izuku to the bed in Recovery Girl's office. Recovery Girl examined Izuku's body. Poor dear, you pushed yourself too far, Recovery Girl said as she looked down. The phone started to ring and Recovery Girl went to the phone to answer it. How is he? Aizawa asked on the other end of the phone. He is in no condition to fight the next round, she said. He will need surgery for this injury. Aizawa sighs and looked at Midnight. He shook his head and Midnight got the message. Due to injuries that Midoriya received from his fight with Todoroki, he will not be able to move on to the next round, said for everyone to hear. With that said, Todoroki will move on to the next round to take his place. Poor Deku, Uraraka said. Midoriya shouldn't have done that to himself, Sato said. He damaged himself too much, and now he won't fight. He had no choice, Momo said. That was really all he could do to win against Todoroki. No pro hero would want to pick him after seeing that, Mineta said as soon as he was slapped by Tsuyu's tongue. You are making things worse, Tsuyu said. He stood his ground, even though he knew the risk of it, Kirishima said as he was crying. So manly. Kirishima, can you stop crying? Jaira said as she was wondering how Mina was reacting about Izuku's injuries. These are manly tears, Kirishima said while still crying. On the arena, Iida was ready to fight Bakugo. You have inspired us, Midoriya, Iida thought. Your fight with Todoroki made the class want to push past their limits. Ready! Midnight yelled. You showed the heroes what Class 1A truly is, Iida thought. Begin! Midnight yelled. Back in the office, All Might walked in to check on Izuku. He saw that recovery girl was doing surgery on Midoriya. You are too late, All Might, she said as she was repairing Midoriya. Whatever you had to say to him won't change the fact that you put him through this. I know, but I just didn't think he was going to go that far, All Might said. Recovery girl was mad. What did you tell him? She asked as she reset the bone fragments in Midoriya's right arm. To tell everyone that you are here. All Might as he clenched his fists and looked at the four. He is just a kid, she said. You should know better than to tell the kid to go that far. You are right, All Might said. I am sorry, kid, I just wanted you to show the world what you can do. Recovery girl became sad and looked at All Might. This is the last time I am healing his injuries, Recovery girl said. All Might looked at her like she was crazy. Maybe this will teach you to train the boy from hurting himself, Recovery girl said as she was finished with the surgery and gave Izuku a kiss to heal him. He is healed, but a single kiss won't be enough to fully heal him, she said. He will need rest. I understand, just let me know when he wakes up, All Might said to her as he walked out. As soon as he closed the door, he saw Mina crying. Ashido, I am sorry, All Might said. Mina looked up at All Might and slapped him in the face. Are you happy that he did what you asked him to do? Mina yelled while crying. He looks up to you and wants to be like you, All Might. Ashido, I am sorry, All Might said. If I would have known that he would do that to himself, then I would have not told him to do it. Mina fell to her knees and cried. I am sorry, All Might, she cried. I didn't want to slap you. All Might hugged Mina. It is okay, All Might said. I deserved it, but I am just glad that you care so much for him. Mina just kept crying on All Might. I promise that I will train Midoriya better, he said. He should not deserve to have injuries like that, and I will make sure of it. On the arena, Bakugo was firing explosions to hit Iida. I am at a disadvantage, Iida thought as he looked at the arena. The arena was destroyed, and it made it harder for Iida to run around freely. I am not letting you get close to me, Four Eyes, Bakugo yelled. Iida fired up his engines. I got to end this now, he thought. Iida used his quirk and ran straight to Bakugo. Bakugo launched himself in the air, making Iida miss him. Iida turned around but saw that Bakugo in front of him while upside down. Stun grenade! Bakugo yelled as the attack blinded Iida. Bakugo used his explosions on Iida. Iida soon went down to the ground unconscious. Bakugo wins! Midnight yelled as the crowd cheered. Bakugo walked away as Iida got up. Iida hit the ground with his fist. He got up and walked off of the arena. He was looking at the ground as he was walking. I am sorry, brother, he said. His phone started to ring. Iida answered it, and his mother was talking to him. Iida! His mother was crying on the phone. Mom, what is wrong? Iida asked. It is your brother, she said. A villain attacked him. Iida dropped his phone. The information made him frozen in fear, but he soon recovered and grabbed his phone. Where are you right now? Iida yelled as he ran out of the stadium. The cops were already at the scene of the crime and telling people to stand back. Some of the cops were behind the police tape and examined the area for any clues that were left from the fight. That were able to recover a broken phone in the alley, but that was just it from the alley. The things that remained were blade marks on the walls and pipes and a pool of Ingenium's blood from the fight. So the hero killer claimed another victim? The cop said as he picked up the phone and puts it into a plastic bag. It seems so, the other cop said. This was the 40th attack, and he is still not captured yet. What they didn't realize was that Stain was watching everything from the top of a building, looking at the cops doing their job. This society thinks it is safe because they have heroes, but what they should understand is that not everyone can be a true hero, Stain said to himself. Soon, a portal opened up and Kurogiri came out. So we meet at last, Stain, he said to Stain. Stain did not look back and pulled not his katana to slice the person who found him, but all his blade was able to hit was the mist Kurogiri was surrounded in. We are on the same side, hero killer, and it is wonderful to meet a villain such as yourself, Kurogiri said. May I have a moment of your time? I have someone that wants to meet you. Kurogiri opened a portal next to Stain. He entered the portal and Stain followed him into the portal. The portal closed before anyone could see it. Shoto was in a room waiting for his next match. He was sitting at a table with empty seats surrounding the table. All he could think about was what Izuku said to him. It is your power, not his. Those words continued to echo in his mind as he looked at his hands. Then an image of his mother appeared in his mind. After all this time, I never once visit you, he said to himself. Mother, I. The door was kicked open. Shoto looked to see that Bakugo was standing there. What are you doing in here? This is prep room, Bakugo said as he looked at the sign. Ah crap, this is prep room too. Shoto looked at him for a few seconds, without saying anything, and looked back down on the table. Bakugo started to grit his teeth and walked over to the table. I know walked in the wrong room, but do you have to give me the cold shoulder? Bakugo said. Shoto said nothing. Bakugo was getting even more mad and exploded the table. Look at me when I am talking, he yelled. You two-face icy hot emotionless freak with family issues. As the smoke cleared, Shoto looked at his left hand. You and Midoriya were friends, Shoto said. Was he always that nice to you? Bakugo started to remember flashbacks of when they were little. Are you okay? Izuku asked. Can you stand up? Bakugo started to get furious and kicked the table over. I don't care about that worthless nerd, he yelled. I want you to go all out on our fight. Bakugo walked out of the room and slammed the door behind him. Shoto sat in silence for a few seconds. I don't have two faces, he said to himself. Get ready, everyone! Present Mike yelled. Shoto and Bakugo were already on the arena waiting for their final battle. Our final match for the first year starts now, Present Mike yelled. As soon as the fight began, Todoroki used his ice quirk and froze Bakugo in a huge iceberg he made. Todoroki trapped Bakugo in ice, Present Mike said in excitement. Do we have our winner? The ice started to crack and an explosion came out and broke the ice. I am not letting you win, Bakugo yelled as he charged at Shoto. Looks like I will have to use more ice, Shoto said as he was about to attack. Bakugo noticed this and exploded the ground to dodge the attack. He was in the air and grabbed Shoto by his hair and sleeve. Don't look down at me, he yelled as he slammed Shoto on the ground. Shoto was about to go out of the ring, but he manages to make an ice wall beside him and make it curve behind him. He hit the curve and the impact made him slide on the ice wall towards Bakugo. He started to create more ice to hit Bakugo, but he dodged it and tried to use his quirk on him. Shoto manages to grab Bakugo with his left hand. Use your left, Shoto, Endeavor said. Shoto used his right and hit Bakugo with ice. Why can't you use your fire one like you did to Deku? Bakugo yelled. Shoto kicked off of the ice wall and stood in the middle of the arena. You will regret making me look like a fool, Bakugo yelled. Bakugo went in the air. If you are not going to try, then why are you here? Bakugo continued to yell. I want to be a hero like everyone else, Todoroki thought. Bakugo created explosions and spinned in the air. I am sorry, Bakugo, but I don't know if fighting you is right thing or the wrong thing, he thought. Bakugo was now covered in a fire tornado and was heading straight at Todoroki. Shoto covered half his body in fire. He soon realized about his mother and how scared she was. He also realized about his father. Bakugo was right on him. Shoto stopped using his fire quirk and protected himself with an ice wall in front of Bakugo. Howitzer impact! Bakugo yelled as he created a huge expulsion that covered the whole arena. Smoke covered the area and Bakugo got up to see what happened. The smoke cleared and showed that Todoroki was knocked on a pile of ice that was out of the arena. Bakugo started to walk towards Shoto and grabbed his shirt. Stop messing around! He yelled. Midnight tore a piece of her sleeve and used her quirk. The mist knocked out Bakugo, and the fight was over. Bakugo fell to the ground and Midnight walked over. Todoroki is out of bounds, she yelled. The winner is Bakugo. The crowd cheered for the winner. The winner of the first-year students is Katsuki Bakugo from Class 1A. President Mike yelled for everyone to hear. Once Midoriya wakes up, we will start the ceremony for the top 3. Leo's story. Leo was driving back to his home and stopped at a red light. He then remembered that this was the same street that it all started. He looked at his right hand. It had a scar that ran down to the middle of his hand. He remembered like it was yesterday. Crowds of people covered every sidewalk, but a certain person had no time to deal with people. Dang it, I'm going to be late for work, Leo said as he ran and bumped into people. Watch where you are going, a man yelled. Sorry, Leo yelled back as he ran. Then bumped into a woman. Careful, you will hurt someone with those horns, she yelled. I know, Leo yelled. Leo was heading towards his job at a jewelry store at the mall. He was wearing a black business suit with a tie that flapping as he ran. He stopped at a crosswalk and waited for the signal to turn. Once he saw that it changed, he ran to the other side. The car sped down the same street being chased after a police car. I told you that robbing a bank was not going to be easy, a robber yelled. The other robber that was driving looked at the other. How was I supposed to know that the vault had some kind of laser security? The other robber yelled. They were not paying any attention that they were about to hit Leo. Once the driver noticed Leo, they tried to hit the brakes to stop, but it wouldn't matter at the speed they were going. Leo stopped where he was at and used his quirk. The car hit him, but he stopped the car without moving an inch. The robbers flew out of the car through the window, and Leo stuck out arms to the sides. The robbers were caught and were struggling to get out of Leo's grasp. The police car came to a stop and got out of the car with their pistols and handcuffs. Finally, we were chasing these two for miles, a police officer said as they put the handcuffs on the robbers. The crowd were cheering and took videos on their phones. I got to say that was incredible of what you did there, woof, an officer said. This officer had a head of a dog and walked towards Leo. I am going to tell you that using a quirk is illegal, woof, he said. A cop soon interrupted them. Officer Tsurigami, the robbers are now in the vehicle, the officer said. That is great to hear, Tsurigami said to the officer before the officer left and got in the car. Tsurigami looked at Leo. You used your quirk to stop these robbers from getting away? Tsurigami asked. I did, Leo said. Tsurigami looked at the crowd around them. I didn't see it, so how am I going to arrest something I didn't see, woof? Tsurigami said to Leo. Thanks, officer, Leo said as he left to head to his job. Tsurigami smiled and got in the car with the other officer. Sir, why did you let him go? He used his quirk, the officer said. Kid, do you want to do more paperwork all day in the office, woof? Tsurigami asked. He also saved us time to capture these two. I can't argue with you on that one, sir, the officer said as they drove to the police station. After we drop them off at the station, let's go get some donuts and coffee, woof, Tsurigami said to the officer. Sounds like a plan to me, the officer said. Leo arrived at the store and was stopped by his boss. Mr. Ashido, you are late again, the manager said. Leo looked at his boss, who was sitting at his office looking at the video of Leo stopping the robbers. Sorry, sir, I was in a little situation with the cops, Leo said. Look, you are a good kid, but I need to rely on you getting to work on time, the manager said. Yes, sir, Leo said. Their conversation ended and Leo was working at the store for an extra hour for his punishment. He was glad that the manager didn't dock his pay. When his day ended, he locked up the store and headed home to his apartment. It was dark out, and he was walking in the cold. While he was close to his apartment, he heard a noise in the alley. Must have been a cat, he said to himself. As he was about to walk again, a woman cried for help. Leo looked in the alley and ran into it. He saw a guy knocking down a woman to the ground. The woman was scared when the guy took out a knife. I told you to give me the purse, he yelled. Leo stopped and yelled at the guy. Leave the lady alone, Leo yelled. The guy looked at Leo and laughed. This is none of your business, kid, the guy said. Leo couldn't ignore this and stood his ground, but he couldn't use his quirk again. I said leave her alone, Leo yelled as he was about to punch the guy. The person threw the knife at Leo's shoulder. You should have listened, kid, the person said as another knife spawned out of nowhere. So that is the guy's quirk, Leo thought as he tried to take out the knife. It is no use because that knife is stuck in your shoulder, the guy said. The guy threw another knife at Leo's other shoulder. Leo's blood dripped on the ground and got angry. This was my suit, he thought. Leo began to run towards the guy. Just give up, kid, the guy yelled as he threw another knife at Leo's leg. I got to push forward, Leo thought. He was close enough to punch the guy. He formed a fist with his hand, but the guy threw a knife at his fist. The knife went between the knuckles of his middle and ring fingers and ended at the end of his hand. Leo ignored the pain and grabbed the guy's shirt. Just stay down, the guy yelled as another knife was formed. Leo saw it and kicked the guy's knee and dislocated it. The guy screamed in pain and Leo was still holding on to the guy's shirt. Have your knife back, Leo yelled as he punched the guy in the face with his fist that had the knife in it. The guy was knocked out on the ground. Leo took out the knives on his shoulders and leg. He dropped the bloody knives on the ground and looked at his hand. The knife had almost made his split in half. Leo began to stumble, but the lady caught him and slowly set him on the ground. She called the cops and told them that there was an injured man that helped her. Leo began to lose consciousness as the police and an ambulance arrived. Leo woke up in the hospital. He was attached to machines and was laying on a bed. Crap, I am late for work again, he said to himself. He tried to get out of bed, but a nurse came in and stopped him from getting out of bed. Let me look at your hand, she said as she unwrapped the bandages. When she removed them, Leo saw stitches looped from the front and back of his hand. After a few hours, he signed the papers and headed to work. While he walked on the same sidewalk he took yesterday, people were looking at him. He didn't let that bother him as he continued to walk. He got to the store and saw his boss standing there. Sorry for being late, AG Dash, he said, but was cut off. Do not apologize to me, Ashido, he said. I should thank you. Leo looked at him in surprise. You saved my daughter's life last night, he said as he hugged Leo. Thank you. A woman walked in the store and saw them hugging. Dad, I never see you this emotional, she said. They separated and Leo saw the woman. She had blue irises and short brown hair. Akari, I didn't know you walked in, the father said. Leo started to blush as he saw Akari. After years passed, Leo and Akari got married and had 2 kids. They named their first kid Asa and their second kid Mina. The owner then gave Leo ownership of the shop after the owner retired to spend more time with his grandchildren. At that time, Asa was 7 and Mina was 4. As 12 years passed, Leo saw a green-haired kid with the same school uniform as his daughter. So, you are going to UA? Leo said to the kid. Yes, sir, the boy said nervously. Leo just smiled at the kid. It is great to see a kid going to UA, Leo said to the kid. Hero names. It was just a few minutes, but everyone gathered in the middle of the stadium to see the people that made top 3. Everyone was starting to get worried about Bakugo, even though he won. He chained to the ground by his waist, which was also tied around a stone pillar Cementos made. He was also in a capture device that was around his arms and hands. How long has he been like this? Jiraiya said. He was like this the moment he woke up, Kirishima told Jiraiya. Bakugo yelled in the mask around his mouth. Presenting the contestants their medals this year is everyone's favorite hero, Midnight said. From the top of the stadium, All Might jumped and landed in the middle of the stadium's arena. I am here! All Might yelled. All Might! Midnight yelled. The crowd began to cheer as loud as they can for All Might. All Might gave the third-place medal to Midoriya. As soon as the medal was around Izuku's neck, All Might hugged him. You did a great job out there, Midoriya, All Might said. Thanks, All Might, Izuku said. Just promise me that you won't go that far next year, All Might said as he broke the hug. I hope, Izuku said. As soon All Might walked to Todoroki, Izuku showed Mina his medal. Mina smiled and gave him 2 thumbs up. You did great out there, but you didn't go all out on the final match, All Might said curiously. It was my match against Midoriya that made me lose my way, Shoto said. I always wanted to be like you, All Might, but I need to do something before I can move on. Say no more, kid, All Might said as he patted Shoto on the back. Whatever you need to do, I know you can do it. All Might walked over to Bakugo. You were able to keep your promise, All Might said as he took the mask off of Bakugo. This one doesn't count, All Might, Bakugo yelled as he made the scariest face ever. I don't want that junk medal. That face is scary, All Might thought. Just please accept this medal to remind you of how hard you tried. All Might was trying to put the medal around Bakugo's neck. No, I don't want it, Bakugo yelled as he tried to not let All Might put the medal around his neck. Please accept the medal, All Might said as he was struggling. I told you, Bakugo said as All Might put the medal in his mouth. Here are your winners, All Might yelled. The crowd cheered. After the festival ended for the first-year students, the class went back to their classroom to wait for further instructions. Since the festival is over, you will all have tomorrow and the day after that off, Aizawa said to the class. During your break, pros will be picking students they want to train, so you will the results after your break. Everyone left to go see their parents after the day they all went through. Some were happy, some were sad, and a few cried. After their break, Class 1A returned to school and were excited to see the results. It was raining outside and Midoriya was at the front gate of UA. I wonder how everyone is doing? Izuku said as he wondered about the news of Ingenium being attacked. We can't be late, Iida yelled as he ran past Izuku. Good morning, Midoriya. But the bell doesn't ring until 5 minutes, Izuku yelled as he tried to catch up to Iida. Iida, are you okay? Iida stopped and looked at Izuku. I am okay, Midoriya, Iida said as he lied to his friend. Don't worry about my brother, he is fine. As they entered the classroom, Mina came out of nowhere and hugged Izuku. I miss you, she said as Iida walked past them. So many people talked on me on the way here, Kirishima yelled enthusiastically. Same here, Tsuyu said. Lucky, all I got were grade schoolers telling me good effort, Sero said disappointedly. Good effort, Tsuyu said to Sero. Not my own classmates, Sero sighed. Everyone just entered as the bell rang. They were all talking, until they heard footsteps in the hall. They all got to their seats and stayed silent. Aizawa entered the classroom to see that they didn't forget his rules. Morning, Aizawa said to the class. Good morning, the class yelled back. It is great to see that your bandages are off, Aizawa senses, Tsuyu said. It is, but now I have this scar under my right eye, Aizawa said. Never mind that because we are doing hero informatics. Please don't let it be a pop quiz again, Denki thought. You will all come up with your own hero names, Aizawa said. Everyone got up and cheered, until Aizawa used his quirk and everyone sat back down quickly. I also told everyone about the pro draft picks for the students, but after time they can change their minds and revoke you from their agency, Aizawa said. So that could also mean that there will be more difficult challenges we will have to overcome, Toru said. That is right, but enough discussing about that topic. Here are the results of the pro draft pick, Aizawa said as he showed the students the board. Todoroki 4123. Bakugo 3456. Tokoyami 360. Iida 301. Kaminari 272. Yaoyorozu 108. Kirishima 68. Uraraka 20. Sero 14. I should have known the votes were going to be like that, Shoji said. I am not up there, Izuku thought to himself. I guess you scared the pros with that quirk of yours, Mineta said to Izuku as he pushed his shoulder. Even though there were some of you that were not picked, you can still work with the pros, Aizawa said. Is that why we will create our hero names? Soda asked. It will help, Aizawa answered. Not only will it help, but it will be the name the world will call you, Midnight yelled as she walked in the classroom. Why is Midnight here? Tsuya asked. Ribbit. Because I am not good with deciding names, Aizawa said as he got into his sleeping bag. I am taking a nap. The class was each given a market and whiteboard to write their hero names on. It was 15 minutes and Aoyama got up in front of the class. My hero name is I Cannot Stop Twinkling, Aoyama said. That is a sentence, not a name, everyone shouted. Just get rid of the I and replace cannot with can't, Midnight said. Mina got up. My hero name is Alien Queen, Mina yelled confidently. From the movie Because of Her Blood? Midnight yelled in disgust. No, try again. Dang, Mina said in disappointment. When she sat down, she looked at Izuku and Izuku looked back at her. He wrote something on the board and showed it to Mina. On the board it said, I thought Alien Queen was a great name. Mina smiled and wrote on her board. When she showed him the board, it said, Thanks Aizu. Izuku smiled and went back to think of his hero name. Tsuya got up and showed everyone her hero name. Call me Froppy, Tsuya said. That is a great name, Midnight said. Soon, Kirishima got up. My name will be Red Riot, he yelled. Another great name, Midnight said. This is harder to come up with a name than I thought, Izuku thought to himself. One by one, everyone chose their hero names. Jiraiya's name was Earphone Jack. Shoji's name was Tentacle. Sero's name was Cellophane. Ojiro's name was Tailman. Sato's name was Sugarman. Mina's name was Pinky. Denki's name was Chargebolt. Toru's name was Invisible Girl. Momo's name was Kriati. Shoto's name was Shoto. Tokoyami's name was Tsukuyami. Mineta's name was Grape Juice. Koda's name was Anima. Bakugo tried King Explosion Murder, which was no good. Uraraka's name was Uravity. Ida's name was Tenya. Izuku's name was Deku. Bakugo tried Lord Explosion Murder. Still no good. In the staff room, Cementos received a message for a pro pick. Almight, a pro hero, chose Midoriya, Cementos said. Who is it? Almight asked. As soon as he saw who it was, he was terrified. Hero Agency. I will start handing out personalized lists to those who have been drafted by pros, Aizawa said as he passed out the papers. The rest will get a list of 40 agencies that are willing to accept interns, but you will still have to choose carefully. Kirishima looked at his list with Tsuyu. I am thinking of going to an agency that deals with crimes in the city, Kirishima said. What about you, Tsuyu? I am thinking of going to an agency that would deal with floods, Karo, Tsuyu said to Kirishima. You guys have already figured out what to do, Mina said, trying to think what she should do. Maybe you should go with Midoriya, since he was not drafted, Suya said. Good idea, but he might go to any agency that won't be for me, Mina said, sighing. Mina saw Uraraka with Izuku. I am going to Gunhead's agency, Uraraka yelled confidently. That is great to hear, Uraraka, Izuku said to Uraraka. Mina walked over to them. It is great that you picked an agency that quickly, Uraraka, Mina said. Thanks, Ashido, Uraraka said. I thought you would have gotten drafted. It is fine, but that means I have room for improvement, Mina said with a smile on her face. She formed a fist with her hand and put it straight in the air. Izuku just smiled. I could help you find an agency, Izuku said to offer Mina help. That would be great, Mina said cheerfully. After school, Izuku was able to help Mina pick an agency that can help Mina use her quirk in other ways. Thank you so much, Izuku, Mina yelled as she hugged him and kissed his face multiple times. Izuku was getting a little red, but he was mostly happy to help his girl find an agency. No problem, Mina, he said. Izuku and Mina got up to walk out the door, but All Might was at the door. I am here to talk to you, Midoriya, All Might yelled. Can Mina come? Izuku asked. Mina was a little surprised, but she was not at the same time. Of course, All Might said as he walked down the hall, with Izuku and Mina following him from behind. All Might was starting to sweat. A pro has drafted Midoriya, All Might said. Izuku was shocked, while Mina jumped in the air excitedly because Izuku was drafted. His name is Gran Torino, All Might said. He taught me at UA as an instructor for 1 year, and my homeroom teacher. This is amazing, Izuku yelled. I get to be trained by All Might's instructor. He knows about One for All, All Might said. If he knows about your quirk, then why are you shaking? Mina asked. He can be extreme with his training, All Might said. Also, your hero costume is fixed, Midoriya. In the staff room, Aizawa was looking over the internships for his class. Internships? Snipe asked as he walked up to Aizawa. Yeah, I was just looking at who made rash decisions, Aizawa said. I hope they all chose wisely, Snipe said. My darn third-year students still regret the agencies they picked. You are right about that, Aizawa said as he looked at Iida's paper. Why go to Manuel's agency at Hoso? Aizawa thought. Unless. Today was the day that everyone will go to their agencies. Everyone got your costumes? Aizawa asked. It is prohibited to wear them in public. I got my costume, Mina yelled. Everyone please be on your best behavior, Aizawa said as he walked away. As Iida was about to leave, Midoriya called out to him. Iida, if there is anything wrong, we can talk, Izuku said. We are your friends. Mina and Uraraka were behind Izuku as he said that. I knew who attacked Iida's brother, Izuku thought to himself. The hero killer stain, with 17 hero kills and 23 he put out of commission. Iida turned and looked at them. Of course, Midoriya, Iida said. After Midoriya and Mina were on the bullet train for 45 minutes, they were heading to Gran Torino's place. Thanks for coming with me, Mina, Izuku thanked Mina. No problem, because you would do the same, Mina said, which made Izuku blush. Mina giggled a little. As Izuku opened the door, he saw a person on the floor. Ah! Izuku and Mina yelled. He is dead! I am alive! Gran Torino yelled. He is alive! Izuku yelled. Mina sighed in relief. I had a plate full of ketchup and sausage links, but I fell down on the food, Torino said. Who are you? I am Izuku Midoriya and this is Mina Ashido, Izuku yelled. What? Torino yelled. Speak up, boy. I am Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you, Torino said. Who are you again? Mina sighed. I got to go, Mina said as she kissed Izuku. See you later, Izuku. As Mina closed the door, Izuku said bye. A few seconds later, Gran Torino sat on the floor. I want to eat lunch, Torino said. Lunch! Izuku yelled. Tashinori! That is not my name, kid! Torino yelled. Torino went into Izuku's bag and saw his costume. Put on your costume and show your power, Torino said. Did he just change his personality? Izuku thought to himself. Who are you again? Torino yelled. I don't have time with these games and I need to control this power as soon as I can, Izuku yelled. All Might doesn't have that much time left. As soon as Izuku was about to leave, Gran Torino used his quirk and bounced on the walls and was in front of Izuku. Then I will say this one more time, Torino yelled seriously. Come at me with all you got, kid! Training with a teacher's teacher. All Might is not so great of a teacher, Torino said. This is why I drafted you. Now show me what you can do, you newbie. Izuku got into his costume. Are you sure we should be inside? Izuku asked. Gran Torino didn't answer Izuku's question and bounced off the walls. He went behind Izuku and kicked him in the back. He is fast, Izuku thought. I thought you wanted to demonstration, not fighting? Gran Torino continued to bounce around until he got on top of the microwave and broke it. I thought All Might would choose the right person who is deemed worth of such power, but all I see is a little wet blanket, Torino said. I guess All Might wasn't smart with choosing either. Torino used his quirk and punched Izuku in the back. He bounced off of Izuku and went everywhere in the room. I can't let him get in my head, Izuku thought. Izuku stood his ground and stayed calm. He went for my back twice, so he would most likely do it again. Torino was heading straight at Izuku's back. At the last second, Izuku ducked and spun around to try to hit Torino. So you predicted where I will hit, Torino said. He grabbed Izuku's arm and slammed his head on the tile floor. I thought I would get you, Izuku said. It is because I watched you during the cavalry battle and the tournament, Torino said. I thought you realize about that. They both got up and Torino grabbed his cane off the floor. While we were battling, I noticed that you were thinking about something else. The responsibility All Might gave you. I am not going to train you the way All Might did, Torino said to Izuku as he almost walked out the front door. Also, one more thing I should tell you. Izuku looked at Torino waiting for him to speak. Don't think of One for All as a unique quirk, Torino finished. Then what should I do? Izuku asked curiously. In order for me to train you right, you have to figure it out and prove it to me that you have what it takes, kid, Torino said as walked outside. Izuku took a few seconds to process what Gran Torino told him. Figure it out on my own? Izuku said to himself. Clean the mess you made in my house, while you are at it, Torino yelled outside. Izuku looked at the room and noticed the mess they have made. So you are the one that attacked Utada, Stain said to Shigaraki. And you want me to join you? Shigaraki sat at the bar, looking at Stain. That is exactly it, Shigaraki said. You would be perfect to help us succeed what we are after. Stain squinted as he heard what the boy said. And what is goal you are trying to achieve? Stain disappointedly asked. I want to kill All Might, but right now, I want to destroy the things I hate, Shigaraki said. He held a photo of Midoriya with 2 fingers. Starting with this little brat. To think you would waste my time and try to recruit me just to kill a kid you hate, Stain said as he drew out his machetes. You are what I hate the most. Shigaraki was surprised what the hero killer said to him. Sir, want me to stop him? Kurogiri asked as he was about to open a warp gate. No, let him learn, the television yelled. He must settle this on his own for him to actually mature. That is what education's supposed to be after all. Izuku was looking at the busted-up microwave and thought to himself. What was Torino trying to tell me when he said that I was thinking that One for All is unique? Izuku said to himself. He thought of how All Might battled Nomu and how Bakugo fought him. Of course, I have been using One for All in just my arm, when I should have been using it evenly. Gran Torino was standing behind the door listening to Izuku. Maybe you did choose the right one, All Might, Torino thought to himself while smiling. The Taiyaki inspiration. After training, Gran Torino went to bed and fell asleep. Zzz. He snored while Izuku was confused if Torino was actually asleep. Everything about Torino is a mystery, Izuku thought. He quietly rolled his sleeping bag up and put it away. He looked at Torino while walking out the door into the cold night. I have to think of using my quirk more evenly, but I will need to get used to my quirk if I want to get stronger, Izuku said as he walked up to an alleyway. 5% should be enough to get me to the top, he said as he looked up at the two buildings next to each other. He spread the power in both his legs and jumped. He was headed towards the wall of the building. I can do this, he thought to himself. Suddenly, his phone rang and Izuku lost focus and went face first into the building. I need to put my phone on silent mode while training, he thought as he fell into a pile of trash bags filled with garbage. Izuku got up and struggled to get his phone out. He saw that the call was from Mina and Izuku answered it. Hi Midori! Mina yelled on the phone. Hi Ashi, how are you doing? Izuku asked. Great! My training is tough, but I am getting better, she said excitingly. I just sent you some pictures of my training. Izuku put Mina on speaker so he can talk to her while looking at the pictures she sent him. He saw a picture of her climbing a building using her quirk to make handholds into the building, a picture of her with the hero she was with, and a picture of her doing a cute pose that just made Izuku blush. They are great Ashi, Izuku said. I like the last one. Thanks, I hope you are having a good time with your training, Mina said on the phone. Thanks, I am actually in the middle of training, Izuku said. Okay, I will talk to you tomorrow then, Mina said. Good night, Midori. Mina hung up and Izuku went on with training. It was morning and Gran Torino walked down the stairs with his cane in his hand. Good morning, kid, Gran Torino said and then looked at Izuku. What the heck happened to you? Izuku's face had bruises and scratches all over with tired eyes. I lost track of time and accidentally trained all night, Izuku said, trying to stay awake. When I figured out what you said to me, I trained myself, but I still have a lot to do to master my quirk. Everyone will always encounter a real challenge in their life. Almight managed the power just fine, so I had to teach him in a different way to give a real challenge, Torino said to Izuku. Torino walked closer to Izuku. Almight had the strength for his quirk, but he didn't have the knowledge for fighting, he said as he tapped Izuku's forehead with his cane. You mean the time that Almight when he was at school? Izuku yelled in excitement. Almight never told me his experience in UA, he thought. He and I sparred until he could barely move, Torino said. After my dear friend was no longer in this world, I was entrusted to train him. You're talking about Almight's master? He passed away at that time? Izuku asked curiously. Yes, I am, Gran Torino said as the doorbell rang. Izuku opened the door and got a package off the porch. Why did you not tell him that, Tashinori? Torino thought. Izuku opened the box and took out a new microwave. For some reason, my microwave broke and I ordered this one yesterday, Torino said. You broke it yourself, Izuku said as he set up the microwave. They put the taiyaki that Torino bought from the store yesterday in the microwave and heated them up. Torino was waiting happily while drumming the table. Izuku gave him a taiyaki. Nothing is better than a hot cold, Torino yelled as he bit into the pastry. What? I put them on defrost mode, Izuku yelled. Torino got up and looked at Izuku furiously. You idiot! You put a big plate in the microwave and didn't spin, Torino yelled. You kids should know how to use a microwave. I am sorry. The microwave my mom has doesn't spin, Izuku said as he got up. Then it hit him. Gran Torino! This taiyaki is me, Izuku yelled. No, it's not. What is wrong with you kids these days? Torino yelled. I meant that instead of using my quirk in one part of my body, I should be using it throughout my body. Just like that taiyaki, Izuku said as he used one for all throughout his body. You finally figured it out now, kid, Torino said as he threw his cane down. Breakfast will have to wait then. Torino started a 3-minute timer and used his quirk. Try to hit me in 3 minutes, he yelled from behind Izuku. Izuku looked back and was kicked in the back. He lost his control with his quirk. How pathetic that you can't react that quickly, Torino said as he jumped all over the place and hit Izuku again and again. How can you be a hero if you can't save anyone? Izuku thought about Mina, his mom, and his friends being in danger. I won't let that happen, Izuku thought. Torino punched him in the face and Izuku fell to the ground. Izuku went under a couch. No point in hiding, kid. You won't get away from me that easily, Torino said as he was heading towards the couch. Izuku used his quirk and sent the couch flying towards Torino. Izuku launched himself at Torino, but Torino dodged it. Nice try, he said. Torino launched himself at Izuku, but Izuku knew what Torino would do and jumped to the ceiling and kicked it to send him falling towards Torino. Izuku almost punched Torino, but Torino dodged it and punched Izuku in midair and sent Izuku flying into a wall. 3 minutes are up, Torino said. Dang, I thought I had you. Keeping my quirk at that state is hard enough to control it, Izuku said as he got up. That is true, but the way you analyzed and predicted my movements, you fight like how a hero should, kid, Torino said as he smiled and wiped the scratch that Izuku gave him off his face. Before we train again, let's eat our breakfast, he said. At the bar, Stain had one of his machetes in Shigaraki's arm. Any last words before you die? Stain said as he used his other machete next to Shigaraki's neck. Kurogyri! Get him out of my sight! Shigaraki yelled. Sorry, but I can't move. This must be his quirk, Kurogyri said. I must cleanse this society by killing fake heroes and criminals, Stain said as he was about to cut Shigaraki's neck. Shigaraki grabbed the machete. I'll kill you, Shigaraki said as the machete crumbled to dust. You said I have no conviction, but I do, and it is to kill Almight and the people that worship him like a god. Stain dodged Shigaraki's attack and put away his machete away. You'll pay for my injury by your life, Shigaraki said as he got up and laughed. Our goals are different, but our ambitions on destroying the society's belief is something we have in common, Stain said. Your will is different, but I believe you will grow over time, but I will deal with you when that happens. I am tired of you and your talking. It really irritates me, Shigaraki said. I don't want a crazy person like you in this party. Shigaraki, think of the firepower he would provide for us. Our meeting was successful, Kurogyri said. Good. Then take me back to Hosu. I've got unfinished business there, Stain said. After the research I gathered, the hero killer attacked 4 heroes in each of the 7 locations. The only person he attacked in Hosu was my brother, Iida thought. I am sorry, Tenya, but I am going to stop the hero killer myself, he said. Hosu attack. Get your hero costume on, kid. We are going to Shibuya, Torino said as he called a taxi. That is a classy neighborhood, Gran Torino. Are you sure that we should be wearing our outfits? Izuku asked nervously as he got in the taxi. You are with me, kid. I am a hero, Torino said to him. We are taking the bullet train. That would mean that we will pass Hosu, Izuku said. I hope Iida is okay, he thought. A portal opened on the top of a water tower. Stain and Shigaraki came out of it and viewed Hosu from above. This city is more active at night, Shigaraki said. Stain continued to look at the city with a tense stare. I will make this place see that the heroes they think highly of and show them what they truly are, Stain said to himself. I will hunt down these fake heroes to correct our society. Stain jumped off the water tower and ran into the alleyways in the cold night, disappearing from Shigaraki's sight. Kurogyri, send out the Nomu, he commanded. Are you sure? Kurogyri questioned. Yes, Stain is ruining my plans and getting rid of heroes, but every city he has been to has been placing more heroes, Shigaraki spat back. Kurojiri didn't argue and did what Shigaraki told him to do. 3 Noma came out of the portal and started to destroy buildings around them. "Let's see who comes out on top, hero killer," he said confidently. A bullet train sped on the tracks heading towards Hosu. "Kids and technology these days," Torino said to Izuku, who was on his phone texting. "Sorry, Gran Torino," Izuku said apologetically. "I was texting Iida and Mina that I am passing through Hosu." The train stops and a hero busts through the train. The passengers cried out horrified seeing a 4-eyed monster with its brain exposed from its head. Gran Torino lounged at the Noma and sent the beast flying out of the train with him. Izuku cried out to Torino, but soon stopped as he saw that Hosu was under attack. A few buildings were already in flames, while people were crying for help in the distance. "An attack at this time?" Manuel yelled out. "Double time to the scene, Iida," he yelled as he ran. Iida didn't pay any attention to his trainer and looked into a dark alleyway. He used his quirk and ran into the alleyway. Stain took his katana out of a hero's shoulder as held his face with his other hand. "That brat is causing too much trouble for me to do what I came here to do," Stain said. "I can't move," the hero muffled through Stain's hand. "I will get you for this." "If you were a true hero, then choose your last words wisely," Stain said as he swung his sword. Iida came running from behind Stain. Stain swung his katana at Iida. Ida's body fell to the ground and his helmet clattered away from him. Stain saw Ida's eyes, knowing those were the eyes of a person seeking revenge. Fighting the hero killer. The conductor was helping up a wounded civilian. "Everyone stay calm," he yelled to everyone on the bullet train. "Heroes will be here." Izuku ran out of the train ignoring the conductor yelling at him to come back. "I hope Gran Torino is okay," Izuku thought to himself trying to find Torino. "You don't look so tough to me," Torino said as he was fighting a Noma. The Noma attacks by swinging its arms randomly, destroying anything in the surrounding area. Torino dodged the attacks. Torino noticed the Noma going after some citizens nearby. "You're supposed to be fighting me," Torino yelled as he tried to stop the Noma. Suddenly a wave of flames hit the Noma and Torino dodged the flames before he was consumed like the Noma was. "No way, it is him!" the civilian yelled. Endeavor walked towards the Noma. "I was called to find the hero killer, but no one told me there was another villain out here causing destruction," Endeavor said. Izuku ran towards the chaos that people were running away from. He struggled to get past the crowd of people bumping into him on his way there. "I got to find Gran Torino and help him," Izuku thought as he was running. "I got to make sure Iida is okay also." "Where is Tenya at?" Someone in the distance yelled that made Izuku stop at his tracks. Izuku soon saw many heroes were fighting 2 more Noma. One Noma looked a lot like the Noma from USJ, but it was missing most of its head, only having a lower jaw with no eyes. The other was light gray, smaller, and had wings. The big Noma swung its arm and took out 4 heroes, while the other flew off with 1 hero. Izuku saw Normal Hero, Ida's mentor, battling the Nomas. "Where did he go at this time?" Normal Hero yelled. Izuku realized that if Iida was not here, then it would mean one thing. "Iida is going after the hero killer," Izuku thought. Izuku ran to find Iida, while leaving the heroes to fight a battle they won't win. Iida charged at Stain with anger and tried to kick him. Stain jumped into the air and stabbed Iida by kicking him with the blades on his shoes. "Aya!" Iida yelled in pain. Stain stepped on the back of Ida's head and slammed it into the ground. "I am going to kill you, hero killer!" Iida yelled. Stain thrust his katana into Ida's arm, almost severing it. "Save him first," Stain said as he pointed to the hero he attacked. "A true hero should not use their power to take revenge, they use it to save others." Iida realizes he was blinded by his own hatred that he forgot about the hero. "This is the reason why I will kill you," Stain said. He licked his katana that had Ida's blood on it. Iida became paralyzed on the ground. Stain raised his katana over Ida's head. "Your life will be a good offering for the betterment of this society we live in," Stain said. Iida thought about his brother. You look up to me that much? Then that makes me a great hero. You hurt my brother! Iida yelled in anger. I will never let you succeed in your mission here, you criminal! Stain thrust his katana downwards to Ida's head. A flash of green electricity soon appeared and a fist hit Stain's head and made him stagger back. Iida was shocked to see his friend, Midoriya, standing beside him. I am here to help you, Iida, Midoriya said to his wounded friend. Get out of here, Midoriya! Iida yelled. You don't have to fight my fight. I can't leave you here, Iida! Izuku yelled back. I will fight him so you can get help. I can't move, Iida said. He used his quirk when he cut me. Izuku saw the unconscious hero on the ground. He realized running away will put a life in danger. So you want to save those two want to be heroes? Stain asked Midoriya. Since we will fight, then the weaker of us will fall. Stain looked at Izuku, which made Izuku think he was looking straight at death. Izuku shuddered at the look of the hero killer. Izuku stood his ground and reached for his phone and sent a message. I told you stay out of this, Iida yelled back. A hero always helps the people in need, even if it is not asked for, Iida, Izuku argued. Izuku was in a fighting stance. Stain was impressed and smiled at Izuku. Finally a true hero, Stain said. Izuku ran straight toward to the hero killer. He uses full cowling to get close to him. Stain switches to his machete and tries to swing it at Izuku, but Izuku dodges it by going under Stain. This kid is good, Stain thought to himself. Stain swung his katana around and behind him, but Izuku was not there. Stain looks up to see Izuku above him. Detroit Smash! Izuku yelled as he punched Stain's head. Izuku landed on the ground and was happy. I finally did it! He yelled. Stain licks his machete, and Izuku became paralyzed. Izuku saw a scratch on his arm and realized it was blood that the hero killer has to consume. Stain walked towards Iida. You might lack the power, but you were able to think on your feet and follow my movements to bring me down, Stain said as pointed katana at Ida's eye. He looks at Izuku. You are worth keeping alive, he said. He then looks at Iida. This kid on the other hand will die for my cause, he said as he readied to swing his katana. No, don't do it, Izuku cried out. Soon fire and ice headed towards Stain, but he jumped and stabbed a wall with his machete. Izuku heard footsteps approaching the alley. So many interruptions today, Stain said to himself. Midoriya, learn to type directions more specifically, because I was almost too late to help you, Todoroki said. A fight to remember. Your group text to everyone was a good idea, but really need to put in more information in your messages next time, said Todoroki. Just be glad I knew you were in trouble. Shoto used his ice to make a barrier and a slope for everyone to slide down to him for safety away from Stain. Stain stands there menacingly thinking of what to do. Todoroki, you cannot let him consume any of your blood, Midoriya yelled. Somehow his quirk works when he licks blood and paralyzed us, he said. Shoto looks at Stain. That explains all the blades he is carrying, Shoto said with no expression on his face. Stain suddenly throws a knife straight at Shoto's face. Shoto dodges the blade, but his left cheek gets cut and was leaking blood. Stain charges at him and takes out his machete to cut Todoroki, but Shoto ends up creating another ice wall blocking the attack. Stain looks up, which causes Shoto to look up, seeing a spinning katana in the air. He must have thrown it when he threw the knife, Shoto thought. Stain grabs his shirt and was about to lick the blood on his cheek. Todoroki used his fire quirk to push back Stain. As Stain was pushed back, he recovered his machete and grabbed his spinning katana in midair without looking. Todoroki uses his ice quirk, but Stain avoids it and cuts it down with ease. It is not smart to block your own vision against a faster opponent, Stain said as he readied two pocket knives. Todoroki tries to use his fire again, but Stain threw the knives into his arm. Stain was in the air, above Shoto, with his katana pointing down. All of a sudden, Izuku grabbed Stain's collar and dragged him across the wall of a building. "I can move again, Todoroki!" Izuku shouted. Stain soon elbowed Izuku's stomach hard, causing him to let go of Stain. Izuku got up holding his stomach. "I got 3 theories of his quirk," said Shoto as he grabbed the knives out of his arm without wincing and threw them away from anyone. "His quirk is weaker the more people his quirk is being used on, the amount of blood he ingests, or our blood type," he said. Stain smirked. "That right, kid," Stain said. "We have get these 2 out of here, but he is too quick for my quirk," Shoto said as his arm was gushing out blood. "We can't run, Todoroki," Izuku said. "You will leave a blood trail, and carrying 3 people will be an issue for me. So I will have to take him head on while you give me support in the rear," he said. Stain dashed straight towards them and Izuku used his quirk to get Stain as far as he can away from Todoroki. Stain was faster than before. He takes out his katana and cut Izuku's leg. He licked the blade and paralyzed Izuku once again to take out his last opponent. "Stop fighting, I have to be the one to avenge my brother," Iida struggled to say. "Then stand up, Iida!" Todoroki yelled as Stain was getting closer to him. "Never forget the person you want to become!" Shoto used his fire quirk at Stain and misses. Stain swings his katana at Shoto. Suddenly, Stain was pushed back with a broken katana in his hand. The blade spun in the air and struck the ground where Iida used to be. Shoto was relieved seeing his class president standing in front of him. "I don't want you two to shed any more blood for me," Iida said as he stood his ground. "You are hopeless," Stain said to Iida. "You will never be a dash," Stain said as he was interrupted by Shoto using his fire quirk at Stain. "I had enough of your voice," Shoto said. Stain stuck his katana on a building to avoid the flames. "Todoroki, freeze my leg and don't block the exhaust pipes," Iida yelled. "Yes, but why?" Todoroki questioned. "No time, just do it," Iida yelled. The hero killer threw 2 knives at Shoto, but Iida jumped in front of the knives and went into his arm. Stain then threw a machete at the same arm and into the ground, pinning Iida to the floor. "Stop trying to act like a hero!" Stain yelled as he got closer. Shoto froze the engine on Ida's leg, as Iida was taking the machete out of his arm with his teeth. Midoriya stood up and used his quirk one last time and jumped in the air. Iida takes out the machete and the eyes fixed his engine and used his quirk heading towards Stain. Stain was caught in the middle with no time to react. Iida kicked him in the ribs, while Midoriya punched him in the jaw. All 3 of them start falling. Stain grips his katana and slashes at Iida, but he dodges the swing. Shoto used his fire and hit Stain's face, while Iida kicked him in the ribs again, making a loud cracking sound. Shoto used his ice to make a wall of ice for them to slide down on. "Get up!" Shoto yelled to them. He looks at the hero killer unconscious and sighs in relief. "Is he down?" Izuku asked. "For now, but let's find some rope," Shoto replied back. As they were looking for rope, the hero was able to move and help find some rope. They tied up Stain and removed all of his weapons. Izuku stopped and looked into the distance, and sees someone running towards them. "Hey guys!" Mina yelled. "I am guessing she found out about your group text Midoriya," Shoto said. Mina runs into Izuku hugging him tight, almost shedding tears. "I knew something was wrong because you are not the kind of person to randomly text an address in a group chat," Mina said to Izuku. Izuku was about to say something to Mina, but got kicked in the face by Gran Torino. "I told you to stay in the train!" Torino yelled. "Midori!" Mina screamed. Torino looked at the others and sighed. "I am glad you are okay, kid," he said. 4 other heroes came up to them asking questions to them when they saw that the hero killer was tied up. Once the heroes were informed what happened, Torino looked up and saw the winged Nomad diving in to attack them. "Look out!" he shouted. Midoriya didn't react in time. Instead of being grabbed by the Nomu, Mina pushed him out of the way and was grabbed. "Mina!" Izuku cried out, trying to use his quirk. The Nomu was too fast and was flying higher. Its blood was dripping out of its eye. Stain took out a pocket knife and cut ropes. He licked the Noma's blood that landed on a hero. His quirk paralyzes the Noma. Stain manages to grab Mina and stab the Noma's exposed brain, killing it. Mina looked up and noticed Stain's pupils were gone and was driven by madness. This society of heroes and the villains that use their quirks for no cause are to be purged, Stain said. Everyone stood in their battle positions, but Endeavor arrived. What is everyone doing? The creature should have came by here, Endeavor yelled furiously. He then looks at Stain taking the knife out of the Noma violently. Endeavor. Stain letting go of Mina. Stain's mask comes off his face. Mina soon became petrified by what underneath the mask. You are mine hero killer! Endeavor yelled. Wait, Endeavor! There is a student with him! Torino yelled back. Stain turned around and showed his face to everyone. They all noticed his nose was gone, and the scars showed it was cut and ripped off from long ago. How am I supposed to restore the idea of true heroism? Stain roared. Everyone, even Endeavor, was backing away from Stain. Without spilling blood and showing our society our heroes, he continued. As soon as he took a step, he dropped his knife and stood still. He's knocked out, Endeavor said. Exams Part 1. After a few days, Izuku, Iida, and Shoto got out of the hospital. Everyone has been talking about the video that the hero killer wasn't talking about the Heroes Society. After the word got out, the Hero Association decided to increase hero patrols and recruit the future heroes a different way. Izuku entered his classroom and saw that Kirishima and Sero were laughing at the new haircut Bakugo got from Best Jeanist. Stop laughing! It is still like this, even after I showered! He yelled at them before he made them stop laughing. His fury managed to bring back his normal hairstyle. Izuku noticed Mina was talking to her friends about their experiences in the hero agencies. It was just evacuation and support for me, Jiraiya said. It was just patrol for me, but I did stop some smugglers one time, Tsuyu said bluntly. That comment made both Jiraiya and Mina surprised as they learned that their frog friend took out some criminals in her work-study. What about you, Ochako? Tsu asked. Uraraka was in a fighting stance and looked like she was ready to fight anyone in her way. I have learned so many fighting techniques, she says as she punches the air. Kaminari was sitting at his desk hearing the conversation. The three I want to listen to is Todoroki, Iida, and Midoriya, he says as he looks at the three. Everyone shifted their attention to the three boys. The three tried to come up with a quick answer. Endeavor was there, so he must have handled the fighting with the hero killer, Kirishima said, while Bakugo had him in a headlock. Of course, we barely fought the hero killer, Todoroki said with a straight face. Izuku looked over at Ashido, knowing that she knew Todoroki lied to not draw suspicion on what really happened that day. I heard that the hero killer is in league with the League of Villains, Ojiro said. I do not want to think what would have happened if he was with them during the USJ attack. Denki butted in saying what was on his mind. I know he is our enemy, but his tenacity is cool, Denki said. Kaminari! Izuku yelled. Denki realized why Izuku yelled and looked at Iida. Oh, sorry, Iida, Denki said apologetically. It is okay, even though his convictions were wrong, I did not act like a hero when I met him, Iida said. I will correct myself and walk the path of a true hero once again, he yelled. Time has passed and everyone went home, except for Izuku. He was called to meet Almight in the break room. Izuku enters the room to see his mentor sitting on the couch. Almight was in his normal form and was not in a good mood. Take a seat, young Midoriya, he said without looking at Izuku. Izuku sits down with no hesitation. I want to apologize to you. I was not there to help you, Iida, Todoroki, and Ashido that night the hero killer attacked, Almight said. You do not have to apologize, but I want to know more about One for All, Izuku said. I will tell you the origin of the quirk Midoriya, Almight said. Izuku looks at his mentor. One for All was passed down from a different quirk, he said. Izuku trembled a bit from what Almight just said. Exams Part 2. Izuku walked back to his classroom as he thinks what All Might said to him. A quirk that has been passed down over generations is impressive, but all for one sounds powerful, Izuku said to himself. I had no idea that there is a quirk that can steal quirks, he continued. He was at the door to his classroom, and opened it to see that everyone looked at him as he moved to his seat. He sat down and Aizawa continued to teach the class. It was the last week of June, which also meant 1 week left before the final exams. I totally forgot about the exams, Kaminari yelled out in the class. I didn't think of it during our time at the internships and sports festival, he said worryingly. You're not the only one, Tokoyami responded back. Sato sat behind Koji and talked to him. The midterms were not bad, since we didn't cover much at the beginning of school, Sato said to Koji, while Koji nodded in agreement. Sucks that there is a practical exam as well, Mineta said as he rubbed it in. Why would you bring that up as well? Denki yelled at him. It is not like you are the only one struggling in class, Mineta said to him. Izuku and Mina walked into the classroom holding each other's hand. Kaminari ran over to them. At least I am not alone in failing the class, right, Ashido? He asked her as he gives a shaky thumbs up. Mina got a little nervous, which caused her eyes to look a while from Denki. Well, she said as she pulled out her class grades. Denki grabbed it out of her hands and his eyes widened as he looked through it. Oh please Kaminari, I don't think it is that good, Mineta said as he took the paper from Denki. He looked at it, and back at Mina not believing it. You are 8th in the class? He yelled out as the color from his body was drained out. I thought she was struggling in the class, Kaminari said. I was, Mina responded. But I helped her out, Izuku said. Mina hugged Izuku's arm, showing him her appreciation for his help. Shoto walked in and heard the conversation. You have attended class like everyone else. I don't know how you are failing, Shoto said, not thinking about how much that hurt Denki. Denki fully turned white like Mineta. His words hurt, he said to himself. Kaminari, if you are struggling with class, then I can help you, Momo said calmly. A ray of light shines down on Momo. Denki was in tears of joy. Thank you, he said. Some of the others huddled over to Momo asking her for assistance with other subjects like math and history. This made Momo feel excited, like she is the teacher that is going to teach them, instead of Aizawa. It was finally lunch and everyone was eating their food. I wonder what the practical exam is going to be, Izuku said to Iida, whom is sitting beside Izuku. I can only assume that the practical exam will consist of something we have dealt with before, Iida said as he looked at his friend. Shoto was also at the table they were at, but he made no comment as he ate his food next to Iida. Across from him was Toru. The academic exams are basically just everything the teachers covered in the first semester, she said as everyone saw the bowl of food and chopsticks in the air. Tsuyu sat beside Toru. Aizawa told us that, she said to her invisible friend. Achiko sat beside Tsuyu and looked at her. Yeah, but Aizawa told us. We know can lie to us, like the time he told us that he will expel the person who scored last on our first day of school, she said worryingly. Well, we will just have to stay focused, Izuku managed to say before he was hit on the head by someone's tray. Izuku turns around to see Minoma, the annoying Class B student that hates Class A. Oh, I am sorry. Your big head of yours got in the way, he said to Izuku sarcastically. How dare you attack our classmate? Iida yelled. I heard the three of you ran into the hero killer and I thought the sports festival was enough of a show for you all, but I guess Class A is wanting to be in all of the spotlight dash, Minoma said as he got karate chopped on the side of the neck by Kendo. She grabbed his plate of food before he fell. Sorry you guys, he has been given bad information about Class A is all, Kendo said. She grabbed her classmate by the back of his school uniform shirt. Also, the exam will just be us first years against the robots from the entrance exam, she said to them. Kendo, you traitor. That information gave the advantage against them, Minoma said to her. Kendo karate chopped Minoma's neck again, and dragged his unconscious body away. "The food is good," Shoto said like nothing happened. Everyone was back in class and were told the information some of their classmates received about the practical exam. "Robots? All right. That is no big deal then," Denki yelled in excitement and in relief. "I don't have dial back my quirk," he yelled as he pumped his fist in the air and jumped on top of his desk. One of Shoji's arms transformed into a mouth at the end. "You will need to control your quirk when facing people though," Shoji said. Bakugo headed towards the door and slammed it open. "Either way, I will blast them all away," he said. He turned to Izuku and glared at him. "And you!" he yelled. "Don't use your quirk to perform stunts like I do. It is making me mad." Izuku looked back at Bakugo and got a little concerned about what he said. "I will surpass you, make sure you will not surpass me," he yelled. He left the room and Aizawa stood in a corner of the hallway where Bakugo didn't see him. "You are going more south than I thought, Bakugo," Aizawa thought to himself as he wrote on the clipboard. A week had passed and everyone took their test. Some had struggled, some had finished quickly, and the others took it at their own pace. In the end, everyone passed the exam. All that was left was the practical exam. Everyone suited up into their hero outfits and walked outside to see a lot of teachers were waiting for them. "I think I see 8 teachers," Jiro said. "I wonder why," Izuku said to himself more than to Jiro. "I know everyone here has done their research and asked others about what the practical exam is," Aizawa said to his class. "We are facing robots," Denki yelled as he made a somewhat cool pose. "Sadly, you are wrong. You will all participate in something different from the regular practical exam," Niza said as he popped out of the bidding cloth Aizawa had wrapped around his neck. The class became flabbergasted as they saw the principal. "What do you mean by that?" Momo asked. "The teachers and I had discussed about the exam and we figured out that the best way to make the practical exam more rational is to have a group of 2 students to face off against the teacher that you see here," Niza said when he got off of Aizawa's back. "Huh!" Everyone gasped at the last-minute news they received. "You are all already paired to face a certain teacher that you are also already assigned to. This was based off of your moves in battle, your grades, and your experience with your classmates," Niza continued. Aizawa stepped up and smiled. "Todoroki and Yaoyorozu, you two are facing me," Aizawa said as he looked at the 2 of them. He looked over to Izuku and Bakugo. "The next pair is Midoriya and Bakugo," Aizawa continued. Izuku and Bakugo looked at each other surprised. "The 2 of you will face me," Almight said as he appeared out of nowhere from the sky and landed in front of them as the ground broke a little under his landing. "The teams will be placed in different areas inside the school grounds. Everyone will fight the opponents at the same time as well," Aizawa said. "It seems that the hero killer has been caught. It would have been better if he joined the league, but he still managed to bring the results we needed for Shigaraki to form more members to his cause. All he needs to do is seek them out and recruit them into our group," a man said as he looked at the screen of the computer. He was hooked up to multiple 4 bags and a man replaced one of the empty ones with a full bag. "Is he even up for the task?" he said. "He will be. After all, he will be the next me this world will experience," the man said. The screen turned on and showed that the man had a scar that covered the back of his neck to his face, which it ended to his upper lip, while both his eyes and nose were missing. The bus stopped to let Izuku, Bakugo, and All Might off of it. They were brought to the city where the entrance exam took place. "Ah yes, this will be the perfect place to fight," All Might said as he popped his knuckles. "You really expect us to beat you to death?" Bakugo asked All Might angrily. "Let me explain," All Might said. Mina's team was located at an industrial site. "You will be given 30 minutes to complete your objective," Niza said. "What is the objective?" Denki asked the principal. Niza took out a pair of handcuffs and tossed them towards Denki. Denki caught the handcuffs and looked at it. "Your objective is simple. You can either manage to get those handcuffs on me, anywhere is fine, or one of you can escape the area you are in," Niza explained. Jiro's team is located at in the woods. Get ready, you kids! You are facing the next level of difficulty! President Mike yelled out. You don't look difficult to beat, Jiro said bluntly towards the teacher. Koda tried to stop Jiro from making the teacher mad. The only next level is that goofy hairdo that you think would make you look taller. I could use it to mop the floor with you, she continued. Watch your mouth, President Mike yelled. Uraraka's team was located at the USJ. To make this battle a true battle, you will both have to think of me as a villain, 13 said to Achiko and Aoyama. Shoji's team was located at one of the training facilities, but this one was in a dimly lit room with no windows and pillars everywhere. If we do fight and you win, that is fine, Snipes said to Shoji and Toru. However, if you can't handle taking us on in a fight, your other option will be to flee and call for help, Aizawa said. Aizawa looked at Shoto and Shoto knew why he was looking at him. So in your mind, you would think running is your best option, Almight said. He reached for his back pocket and took out a wristband. We asked the support course department to make these for the teachers and I, he continued as he put them on. These things will weigh half the user's body weight. Are you trying to insult us by using those things? Bakugo yelled. All Might gave both his students his signature smile. He turned his back on them and said nothing else, which caused Bakugo to get furious. Recovery Girl was in a small building and watched multiple screens that showed her each testing site that the students were at. Let the exam begin, she said. Ectoplasm's copies surrounded Tokoyami and Tsuyu. You honestly expected me to just wait at the exit for the two of you to come up with a plan along the way? Ectoplasm's copy said to them. Yayorozu, keep making those small objects. That is the only way to know Aizawa is watching us, Todoroki said. Dark Shadow! Tokoyami yelled. Dark Shadow grabbed Azuri and threw her to the third floor. In midair, she used her tongue and launched towards Tokoyami. The tongue wrapped around him, and she pulled him to another floor. So running away it is, Ectoplasm said. Recovery Girl looked at a different screen and saw two students not working as a team. Quit walking next to me, Deku! Bakugo yelled at Izuku. But we can't just fight All Might, Izuku yelled back. I don't care. I will face him myself if I have to. You can run away like the extra you are, Bakugo yelled. There is no way you can beat All Might, Izuku said as he got hit by Bakugo's grenade gauntlet hard on the side of the head. Izuku fell to the ground. I don't need you here. Go back to that girl that sees something in you, Bakugo spat at him. Izuku got mad, but he stayed calm. You want to fight All Might? Fine, we will fight him, but don't bring up Ashido into this, Izuku said to him. Bakugo gritted his teeth. I don't need you to beat him, Bakugo yelled. A huge shockwave headed towards them. It destroyed everything in its path and sent both of the students into the air. He walked towards them as they got up. Bakugo grinned menacingly. There you are! Bakugo yelled with excitement. All Might charged right at Bakugo. Izuku ran away the fight and knew the only way to win against All Might was to escape. All Might was close to Bakugo. He noticed Bakugo held up his arm in front of him at the last second and grinned. Stun grenade! He yelled out loud as a bright light flashed at All Might. All Might covered his eyes and grabbed Bakugo. He lifted him up and slammed him down on the ground. All Might looked at Izuku. Izuku looked back to see where All Might went, and he saw no one except Bakugo on the ground. He turned back to see All Might about to punch him. Izulu used his quirk to avoid the punch. He jumped into the air diagonally behind him. Out of the way! Bakugo yelled as he collided into Izuku. They both fell on the ground and got up. Where did he go? Bakugo yelled as both Izuku and him were on their feet. They looked around and could not find All Might. Heads up! All Might yelled as he pinned down Izuku with a guardrail. Bakugo turned around to aim his gauntlet at All Might, but as he turned around, All Might punched him so hard in the stomach. Bakugo was sent flying a few meters and rolled to a stop. His body was bruised, but he managed to get up as he held his stomach in pain. You still have a lot to learn, Bakugo, All Might said as he walked towards Bakugo. Midoriya tried his best to get the guardrail off of his body. I don't need your advice, All Might, Bakugo said as he barely looked at All Might in the face. All Might said nothing and slowly began to raise his arm and formed his hand into a fist. Midoriya launched himself towards Bakugo and grabbed him. Izuku ran as he carried his childhood friend. I am not letting you fight All Might alone, Izuku said as he ran to get out of All Might's line of sight. The only way we can stand chance is if we work together. Bakugo silently gave Izuku an angered glance. Fine, you dang nerd, he said to Izuku. All Might ran to look for them. I knew I should have knocked out young Midoriya, he said to himself. Bakugo leapt out from behind a damaged building. Looking for me, Bakugo yelled as he used his quirk to get in front of All Might. He exploded the path to stop All Might and landed beside him. DKU! He yelled. Izuku slid out of the smoke from the explosion and had one of Bakugo's gauntlets on his right arm. He pointed it right at All Might. Shoot him! Bakugo yelled. All Might turned to see Izuku point the gauntlet directly at him, with a surprised look on his face. Midoriya pulled the pin with no hesitation. Exam Part 3. The pin is pulled and a large, explosive beam headed straight at All Might. The force pushed Midoriya's right shoulder out of socket. Bakugo used his quirk to create some distance between All Might and him. Run away, Deku! Bakugo yelled as he flew past his teammate. Izuku ran towards Bakugo as they headed towards the exit. Such an incredible attack, and they managed to point it towards the destruction I have already caused to minimize more destruction, All Might said. I am proud that they put aside their differences, but I can't just let them get off that easily, All Might said as he prepared to launch himself towards the two students. Momo used her quirk to make Russian matryoshka dolls. Todoroki rolled at Momo. What are those things? Shoto asked. They are Russian matryoshka dolls I have made when I was little, she said as she put them in her belt. Momo looked a bit under the weather. You came up with a strategy quickly, she said. It is nothing really, he responded. Momo was disappointed when she thought of the cavalry battle and tournament. Shoto looked at her and realized she was not using her quirk. He is here! Shoto yelled as he looked around for Aizawa. I am sorry! Momo yelled as she looked around as well. Aizawa was above them as he descended from the electrical wires using his binding cloth around his neck. It is a shame to see such a good plan go to waste, Aizawa said as he landed next to Shoto and dashed behind him as his binding cloth closed around Shoto's arms. Run, Yayorozu! Shoto yelled as Aizawa lifted him off the ground and hanged him like a piñata in the air. Momo ran away as Aizawa tied a knot to one of the poles. I will escape from this, Aizawa, Shoto said. Aizawa looked up at him and threw caltrops under Shoto. I'm like the hero killer, I know your quirks and how many opponents there are, so I have many countermeasures, Aizawa said as he applied some eye droplets on his eyes. He put on his goggles. You should have let her come up with the plan, Aizawa said as he went after Momo. Shoto hung in the air and thought what Aizawa just said to him. Aizawa caught up to Momo and landed on a roof of a house. He used his binding cloth and the clothes wrapped around Momo's arm. Losing your confidence in battle is the best way for the enemy to gain advantage, Aizawa said. Momo realized that her quirk was not erased and used it to make an object around her arm to make the cloth loosen the grip for her to escape. She ran towards the direction she ran from to get to Shoto. Aizawa smiled to himself and was planning for her to get her confidence back. Now I won't go easy on them, he said to himself. Shoto was dangling in the air still thinking what Aizawa said and noticed Momo ran towards him. Todoroki, I am sorry, but I couldn't just leave you behind, Momo yelled. I'd fine, Yayorozu, but Aizawa is coming, Shoto yelled. Momo turned to see Aizawa was coming and there was no time to waste. I should be the one apologizing, because you had a plan, didn't you? Shoto shouted. Your plan didn't work, so how can mine? Momo said as she questioned herself. I believe in you, Yayorozu, Shoto yelled. Remember the 2 votes for you to be class president? Shoto asked her. I remember, Momo yelled. One of those votes was from me, Shoto yelled. Aizawa was in the air above Momo. And here I thought things would have a bit more interesting, Aizawa said. Momo threw all the dolls at Aizawa. Is that all? Aizawa asked. One of the dolls opened in front of Aizawa's face and revealed a flashbang. She must have made them while creating the dolls, Aizawa thought to himself. Todoroki, close your eyes, Momo yelled as the flash grenades went off. A bright light covered the area for a second and blinded Aizawa. Momo took this opportunity to free Shoto. I do have a plan, Todoroki, Momo said. She untied him. Aizawa landed on the roof of a house and realized Momo knew how to beat him. He threw his binding cloth at her, but Todoroki pushed her to the side and used his quirk. His quirk didn't work and Mom grabbed him. They both ran away from Aizawa. Aizawa chased them. Shoto felt his quirk working again. He stopped and turned towards Aizawa and released a huge ice wall to keep Aizawa from looking at them. Aizawa smirked, knowing he those too well. Shoto turned around to look at Momo, but he soon turned back around when he saw her using her quirk to make the same binding cloth Aizawa uses. My plan is to use his own weapon against him, Momo said to Shoto. Since we have to keep damage low, we will have to capture him using his weapon, she said as she placed the cloth on the catapult she made as well. Sounds like a good plan to me, he agreed. Aizawa waited patiently on a rooftop. The gate is behind me, but I can't go after them and they somehow managed to slip by me, he said to himself. He looked into the distance. What is your plan? He asked himself. He looked and noticed 2 figures in black cloaks were running towards the exit. Aizawa swung after them and used his bind cloth to wrap it around their shoulders. Momo let go of the mannequin she was holding above her and Aizawa noticed the catapult beside her. She made mannequins? Aizawa said as he looked a bit surprised. Momo tried to hit the lever and missed, and caused Aizawa to back up. She tried again and launched the binding cloth at Aizawa. The cloth went everywhere around Aizawa and confused him a bit. Do it! Momo yelled. Aizawa noticed fire came out of the other black cloak and missed Aizawa. You missed, Aizawa said. The binding started to close in on Aizawa and he realized he wouldn't escape it in time. It may not be the exact material like your weapon, Aizawa, but have you ever heard of nitinol alloy? Momo asked him. Aizawa was soon trapped in cloth. It is an alloy that is reverted back into its original shape when it is heated up, she said. Shoto took out the handcuffs and cuffed Aizawa's wrists. I see Aizawa is getting more attached to his students again, Recovery Girl said to herself. She pressed a button and the speakers turned on. The first team to pass is Todoroki and Yayorozu, Recovery Girl yelled into the mic. Mineta tried to wake up an unconscious Sero. Come on, Sero! Mineta yelled. You can't expect me to face midnight by myself. Yeah! Present Mike yelled. The sound wave reached to Jiru as she covered her ears. Koda, can't you get birds to attack him? Jiru yelled. Koda made hand gestures to tell her that the birds would fly away from the noise. You boys finally managed to work together, Almight said. The smoke cleared up to reveal Almight had Bakugo under his foot and Izuku's arm in his hand as Izuku dangled in the air. Sadly, that won't be enough to stop me, Almight said to them. Exam Part 4. Almight had his foot on Bakugo's back, pinning him down on the ground as Bakugo tried to resist. Almight then stomped on Bakugo's back and made it more difficult for Bakugo to escape, as he held Midoriya in the air by his arm. Midoriya gripped All Might's hand to manage to break free from his grasp, but he managed to get All Might's attention. All Might threw Midoriya to the ground close to Bakugo. I will admit that strategy the two of you settled with was good, but one strong attack is not enough to knock me out of the game, All Might said as he looked at the destruction of the exam field and back to his two students. Bakugo moved his hand enough to aim it at All Might. Shut it, All Might! He yelled as an explosion hit All Might. All Might got his foot off of Bakugo, which caused Bakugo to react quick enough to get back on his 2 feet and grabbed Midoriya's arm. He looked towards the gate and threw Midoriya towards the exit. He used his quirk on his teammate to send him flying to the gate. All Might turned his back towards Midoriya. New Hemisphere Smash! He yelled out loud as he sent himself flying faster at Midoriya and collided with him. Midoriya was slammed to the ground and rolled across the ground. The impact caused his outfit to look tattered and covered in dust. Bakugo used his quirk to send himself flying at All Might to fight him. Those gauntlets were supposed to let me go all out without hurting myself, Bakugo said as he was face to face against All Might. But beating you without taking those risks was not possible, he said as he stuck his arms out in front of him. His face showed no mercy and his veins began to stick out more from his throbbing arms. Bakugo released a huge wave of explosions at All Might. He looked to Izuku. Get to the gate, Deku! He yelled as he launched himself at All Might again. He knew he needed to not let All Might recover from the blast. He used another powerful blast and hit All Might again. Izuku got up and charged up his full cowling as he fought the pain in his back. Not this time, young Midoriya! All Might yelled as he jumped out of the smoke and prepared to hit Midoriya. Bakugo leaped out in front of All Might and gets punched in the face. The force of the punch caused him to go face first on the ground. Midoriya turned to see his friend down on the ground again. Sorry, Bakugo, but you were going to hurt yourself if you kept on doing that to yourself, All Might said to himself. Bakugo soon grabbed All Might's arm, which caused All Might to be surprised. Bakugo looked at All Might with a scary death stare. I won't let you win, Bakugo said with pain and anger in his voice. Midoriya began to use his quirk again and charged right at All Might, the man that gave him the chance to become who he always wanted to be. All Might turned and looked at Izuku. As he did, Izuku leaped forward and punched him on the side of his jaw. The power of the punch made All Might let go of Bakugo. Izuku grabbed his teammate and ran away from All Might. He looked down to see his friend is out cold, as he dragged him to the exit. The gate made a triumphant sound letting Izuku know that he and Kaken made it to the end. We did it, Kaken! Izuku struggled to say as he fainted. His body hit the ground and went unconscious. Izuku suddenly woke up to see he was in Recovery Girl's infirmary tent. He looked around to see All Might and Recovery Girl treating Bakugo's injuries. While he was lying in bed, he heard Recovery scold at All Might for not holding back his punches and that Bakugo will be unconscious for a while. Recovering Girl looked towards Izuku and noticed he woke up. Good to see you are awake, she said with a soft smile on her face. Yeah, Izuku said as he slowly got out of the bed and looked at the monitors in front of them. So this is how you look at what is happening in all the battles at once? Izuku asked her. It is, she replied back. Izuku looked up and saw Tokoyami facing ectoplasm. A giant ectoplasm clone swallowed Tokoyami and Sue. The clone destroyed the floor they were on. They were then risen partially out of the clone, but were stuck with no possible escape. Izuku couldn't believe how fast that clone was produced by ectoplasm. They will be fine, Recovery Girl said to him. He looked at her worriedly and back to the screen. We should have expected this from the teachers, Tokoyami said as he struggled to get out of the clone. Dark shadow came out from his user's shadow. He tried to get Tokoyami out of the clone, but the material that the clone was made out of was too resilient to break him free. He began to worry knowing Tsuyu was in the same situation as Tokoyami. The only thing you can do now is to get to the gate, Dark Shadow, Tokoyami yelled. If you want to help us, then escape to the gate, and we will get out of this together, he continued. Dark Shadow thought for a second and nodded. He flew towards the exit, was kicked in the face by the real ectoplasm. Sorry, but I can't let you do that, he said as he kicked Dark Shadow again and sent flying backwards a few feet. Tsuyu looked as ectoplasm and Dark Shadow giving it their all, but Dark Shadow was only struggling to get to the gate. Tsuyu was determined to not give up, even though her face didn't show it. Tsuyu began spit out the handcuffs out of her mouth, and she held the cuffs by her teeth. Tokoyami looked at her shockingly, not knowing when she did this, but knew exactly what her plan was. Dark Shadow was kicked again and sent flying towards the giant clone. He landed next to Tsu and looked at the cuffs. Do it, she said to him. Dark Shadow quickly grabbed the cuffs and attacked one of Ectoplasm's peg legs. Ectoplasm looked down to see he was cuffed. "What a great plan, Tsuyu," Midoriya said as he watched it all on the monitor. "Yes, Tsuyu makes a great teammate and support for her comrades on the battlefield," Recovery Girl said. She looks at a different screen to see a different group. Present was standing near the exit and waited for them make a move. "Oh, come on," he said to himself as he started to get impatient. He takes a deep breath. "Is anyone there?" he yelled out. The sound of his voice reached Jiru and Koda. They both covered their ears, but it wasn't enough to protect their eardrums. Jiru winced in pain and used her ear jacks. They plug into the speakers on her lower legs to make a loud sound towards Present Mic, but they were too far for the sound to impact Present Mic at all. Jiru got frustrated and slammed her fist on a rock. She looked down to see an ant. She then gets an idea. "Koda, can you control bugs?" she asked him as she held out an ant on the palm of her hand. Koda suddenly shrieked in terror as Jiru was still holding the bug towards him. She then kept the ant close to her and back at Koda, which made him scream again and ran away from her. She was caught off guard and wondered what just happened. Then a loud sound from Present Mic hit Jiru and she wasn't ready to cover her ears in time. She looked at Koda and yelled at him. "Can you control them or not, Koda?" Koda didn't say a word, but gave her a thumbs up to show her that he can. Jiru nodded her head as he placed her ear jack on a boulder. The boulder shattered into pieces and revealed different centipedes, worms, ants, spiders, and many other bugs. The sight of all these bugs made Koda almost faint in pure terror. "I know you are afraid of them, Koda, but we have no choice," she said with a bit of desperation in her voice as she yelled at him. She removed her hand from her bloody ear and gave Koda a thumbs up. She looked at him with a smile on her face. "I trust you can do it, Koda," she said with determination. Koda looked at the bugs and started to whisper to them. "Man, what is taking them so long?" Present Mic said to himself. He didn't notice that some insects came out of the ground and traveled up his leg. He started to feel something ticking his leg. He looked down to see that insects were covering and climbing up his leg. He was petrified and shrieked. He tried to get them off his leg, but more kept on coming out of the ground. This caused Present Mic to faint and fell to the ground covered in bugs. As he was passed out, Koda and Jiru ran out of the woods and through the gate. Denki and Mina ran for their lives as metal pipes and parts of buildings fell behind them, blocking the way they came from. "Where is he?" Denki yelled out of desperation as he ran from being crushed by the debris. "I don't know, Kaminari, but we can't keep running around," she yelled back at him. "We will not pass when time runs out, and we have not either captured the principal or escaped," she continued as they both ran and found a little building to hide in. The building had one small window and it had nothing inside it. "If only we knew where he was, we would have had a better chance at making it out of this place unscathed," Denki said as he sat down in frustration. Mina looked out the window to see a crane moving in the distance. "I think that is where he is," she said as she was pointing at the crane. Denki looked at the crane and became worried as soon as he saw the wrecking ball attached to it. "He is just swinging it around," he said, a bit confused. Mina thought for a bit, and her eyes widened a bit as she realized what their principal was up to. "The only thing I can think of is that he is trying to block the gate," she said to her friend. "We only have two options, which are escaping or taking down the wrecking ball," she said. Denki thought about for a bit. "I honestly think we should split up," he said to her. "You can try to find the escape and I can take on the principal," Denki said to her. Mina gave him a worried look, but she knew it was a good idea. "What is your plan to stop him?" she asked him. He smirked and replied back to her. "I can short-circuit the crane he is in and he won't be able to control it," he said. Mina looked at her friend and agreed with him. "Sounds like a plan," she said to him as she opened the door and ran one direction as Denki ran towards the crane in the distance. "I wonder where they are," Niza said to himself. As he said that, his own question was answered. He saw Denki running towards the crane he is in. "I see you found out where I was," Niza said to him. He swung the wrecking ball near him. Denki looked up and got worried. He wanted to sneak up and electrocute the electrical box attached to the crane. Nizu swung the wrecking ball again to scare Denki off, but Denki knew if he backed out, Nizu will have a chance to stop Mina from escaping through the gate. He ran towards the electrical box and managed to jump out of the wrecking ball's destructive path. He grabbed the electrical box and used his quirk enough to destroy it. Mina desperately tried to find the exit, but she couldn't tell where it was from all the destruction Nizu caused. She then noticed a flash of electricity in the distance went off. "He did it," she said joyfully. After a few seconds, her happiness was soon diminished as she noticed the crane started moving again. "But how?" she yelled in disbelief. She stopped searching for the gate and ran towards her teammate to make sure it was still okay. With the amount of time they had left, they only had a few minutes left, and Mina knew that they had to cuff the principal. "Yo honestly thought I would not have been prepared for this," Nizu yelled to Denki. Denki couldn't believe that Nizu made a backup power supply, in case something happened to the electrical box. Nizu swung the wrecking ball again and Denki dodged it. The wrecking ball hit a building near him. The building fell and collapsed near on Denki. He was okay, but he was stuck under some of the rubble from the building. "To make sure you don't interfere again," Nizu said to him. He then swings the wrecking ball at another building and Denki prepared to protect himself. The wrecking ball landed on the ground, instead of hitting the building. Denki looked up to see Mina huffed a bit with some acid on one of her hands. He looked to see that the line of the wrecking ball was sizzling. He looked up to Mina and thanked her. She looked and smiled back at him as she tried to free him under the rubble of the building. "You okay?" Mina asked her friend. "I am," he said to her. "Let's finish this," he yelled with excitement and hesitation in his voice. Mina threw 2 balls of acid on the legs of the crane. The acid ate away metal and caused the crane to fall, with Nizu inside the control room. Nizu managed to get out of the control room, but he ended up getting cuffed by Mina as soon as he got out of it. One by one some of the groups managed to pass the exam. The last team to finish the exam was Mineta and Sero, which he was being dragged by Mineta. "We live to see boobs again, Sero!" he yelled triumphantly. Izuku and Recovery Girl heard what he said on the monitor. "That kid will never change," she said to herself. She then yelled on the intercom that the exam is over. Izuku smiled as he knew that Mina and Denki were able to pass the exam in time.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.